can't be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me. And I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's FT Live. Look, I'm here. I'm back. I'm in Florida.
Take him back, please, Eric. Please take him back.
He was so excited to get to Florida.
He brought the rain. It hasn't rained for a month. He shows up, rain.
You are a rain cloud. You are a legitimate rain delay.
I don't know what a clear sky looks like anymore. I don't.
Vitamin D pills. Need them.
Badly. Anyway, we have a really busy show, so I'm not going to BS too much at the start here. Russ Dorsey will join us in 15. Lucy Burdge is back because it's a Brian Bayo pitching day for Boston. We'll see if we can win some money off Mr. Bayo like we've been doing all year. Michael Wacha will join us at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Former Kratz teammate?
Nope. Nunca.
Me? What about me?
Former Pierzynski teammate
Yeah,
with St.
I mean,
Louis?
duh.
Let's go.
I mean, geez.
Is he your boy?
I mean, I like him.
He was
Okay.
a mentor. He was one of
Wacha mentored
Waka's
me.
mentors.
Wacha mentored me.
He mentored you.
Uh-huh.
He mentored
On what?
you.
How to behave?
Yeah.
Yeah. How to not
Totally.
get in trouble for
Totally.
24
Yeah,
hours?
totally. Because he was a saint.
Nolan Jones, Rookie of the Year candidate. He's not going to win it, but he's
I
going
can't wait to ask him if he thinks that Cleveland wishes they still had him.
Oh,
Because have you seen their
not if I
outfield?
beat you to it.
I mean, oh my gosh.
Serious question for somebody to look up behind the scenes, because I didn't look it up myself. Who has more home runs, Nolan Jones or the Guardians outfield? I know how
Nolan
many
Jones.
Nolan has. He has 19. Have the
21.
Guardians?
No, he has 19
He
or
has
20?
19. Have the
Oh,
Guardians hit
right. No.
more
They were at
outfield
7,
homers?
18.
They were at 18 the other day. Have they not hit one?
It depends. Did Cole Calhoun play the outfield last night?
No, he
Was there-
DH'd. He was DH.
He was DHing? Womp,
Yep.
womp, womp. Did Ellie
Okay.
De La Cruz play for Cleveland because he finally hit a home run in first time in a month?
Not one. He hit two.
Yeah, he finally
Big
did.
game for them, too. So let's
Oh,
jump into it then. Let's charge the damn mound and jump right into the National League wild card that continues to have some life and a lot of drama with basically every team involved besides the Diamondbacks just whipping the Chicago White Sox. Every other team had drama of some sort. I can't talk about the White Sox. The Cubs blew a 6-0 lead, 6-0 to the best offense in baseball in the Atlanta Braves. But it's not that they blew the lead, it's how they blew the lead. Seiya Suzuki misses a ball in the lights? I don't know, you guys tell me. And it cost them the 2 runs and the game and maybe their season. If they miss by 1 game, we are looking at that play and saying, damn it, Steve Bartman, you did it again.
No, that's the Black Cat game. What was it when the Black Cat ran in front of Santo? Remember in the on-deck circle against, I think it was the Mets? Remember? And he like clawed at him and Santo, and then from that, the Cubs didn't win a game. The Brant Brown drop fly ball. Remember that one? That was another one for the Cubs.
So what's this?
It's equal to those if they don't make the postseason. Are you kidding? I mean, I even live tweeted about it. I'm like, what did I just see in Atlanta? Which never happened. You know it never happens. So normally I'm sleeping. But I was up watching it, and I'm like, no way. But he didn't go like, oh, I lost in the lights. He just was on a knee, and he was like he had a piece of dirt in his eye. I don't know, man. It sucks, dude, if you're Seiya Suzuki. And then he had a chance in the ninth and came up and didn't get it done. But, oh, man, you feel awful for Suzuki as a human. But, you know, when we talk to Russ Dorsey, we can ask him as a Cub fan what it feels like.
That is the worst time ever to have dirt stuck in your eye.
I mean, let's
If that's
just say Scotty had a bad beat on his lock.
My heater.
The Cubs had a bad beat in real life. That is demoralizing, especially like it wasn't like a 50-50 play. It should have been caught, but nobody's going to remember the fact that they gave up 6 runs to get to that point. Yes, say you dropped a fly ball that you're going to catch 1,000 times out of 1,001 and you drop that one. But how do you give up that many? And it's just it's a microcosm of what would happen if the Cubs do make the playoffs. They just don't have enough in their bullpen because they are burned out. Burned out.
Well, that's been their whole thing, though, for most of the year. Their bullpen, they're not Ranger bad, but they're They're
They just look
close.
tired now. They look tired
especially with
now.
all the guys hurt too. They got all
That's
those
the
guys.
thing.
in
They
IL.
had a little run where the bullpen was okay.
But here's the thing. Like Smiley's in the 8th inning right there.
Yeah, but think about it. Alzolay has been their dude.
No, I know, but
He's
that's
hurt.
but
Do you want to run through it?
No.
Fulmer, Boxberger,
no, I
Leiter. No one knows. They won't announce what the deal is there, but
I-
assuming he's hurt.
I get all that, but
Hughes.
Drew Smiley has been a starter his whole career. You got him in the 8th inning in the biggest game of the year, right? It just is what it is right now. You're trying to get every out and squeeze, but then there was wild pitches in those innings and bad defense, and just it was like a kind of a comedy of errors for the Cubs. And listen, I mean, they're still right there and they still have the lead for the wild card, the 3rd wild card. So, I mean, they still got a shot. And listen, they play Atlanta one more time.
No, they're still favored. I mean, they
That's what I'm saying.
should secure it.
They play Atlanta tonight, Atlanta tomorrow, and then they go to Milwaukee, who's already clinched. So,
But still, Milwaukee's not a pushover team, even if
No.
they're saving up for the postseason. Like, to think that the Cubs might sweep the Brewers, or even you look at the next couple games for them against Atlanta, chances of them taking both pretty low against that offense and with the way their bullpen's going. So it gives a chance to little Miami if they can just play a game.
oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. That whole story is unbelievable. In the big, are you going to go? Are we going there next?
I mean, you know what? Let's just go with our flow today.
We should go there because this is an awful story on so many levels. But first, let's start with. Go ahead, introduce it, and then we'll get going on this because this irks me.
Now introducing the Mets and Marlins after it stopped raining at 5 o'clock Eastern time, and it's been raining for days there. So usually, you cover everything until it stops, and you keep getting rid of the water, the excess water, and then when it stops raining, you put the field together, give it a little maintenance, and you're good to go. They started working on the field apparently at 2 o'clock Eastern time. A little after 8, they're like, nope, we can't do it. And keep in mind, it had not been raining for many hours. And keep in mind, this is a very important game. The Marlins haven't made it to the playoffs in a full season since 2003, which is the last time they won a World Series, which is 2 decades ago. Miguel Cabrera era. Yeah, kids. Miggy played for the Marlins. So poor job by the grounds crew to get it together and made some mistakes. And Ken Rosenthal wrote a great article about it. Also, I've been told by some people around both teams that their field sucks at draining, and especially with their dirt. And I said, cool, that field was built in the 2000s. Fix it. And also, not an excuse. The Marlins are heated because Braxton Garrett is one of the few starters left on the team that is not hurt of their original starting rotation, right? Alcantara is out. Yuri Perez is hurt now. It's like Garrett and Luzardo to the rescue. And they planned on having him pitch yesterday and then pitch on Sunday, potentially, if needed, which is probably the case given the race right now. So now they'll have to play 2 or 3 games in 2 days against the Mets. That'll include a bullpen game. And then 3 at Pittsburgh. Did I set it up enough?
You forgot the part where they didn't tarp the field during a tropical storm. They forgot. They got a bad weather report and didn't tarp the field. Like, what is happening in New York? Steve Cohen, all that money, can we buy? Like, there's some apps on your phone that are like $3 for the year that we could get, and all the groundskeepers go up to the umpire and show them their phone and are like, hey, it's going to rain in 12 minutes. We should tarp it. Apparently, they missed the memo that it was going to rain for 3 straight days and forgot to tarp the field. And then it was too wet. Like, what are we in the 1920s? Like, is this Bull Durham when they put the sprinklers on and get a rainout? What is happening here? Because it's the big leagues. Like, it's supposed fields are drained. They drain now. Like, you can literally have a monsoon, and within 30 to 40 minutes, pretty much every field is ready to go. Now, there might be some puddles here and there, but it's ridiculous to me. And then, dude, this completely, I'm not going to say it screws the Marlins, but it screws the Marlins over because of the pitching problems. And also doubleheaders, it's what? I forget, we did the numbers earlier in the year, but under 50% that you sweep the doubleheader. And the Marlins need to win these games, and you got to cover 18 innings on one day. I mean, this is just bad, man. This is just Mets metting, but they're metting the Marlins.
And it taxes you too, right?
Yeah.
You can tax your bullpen for the next series going forward, which is against Pittsburgh. These are playoff games for the Marlins right now. Here's Uncle Steve owner of the Mets, our sincere apologies to the Marlins and their fans for having to postpone last night's game. We know how important this series is to the Marlins, and every effort was made to get the field playable. You know what, Kratz? You know what I think? If this was David Stearns, would this happen? That's what Mets fans would probably say right now.
Isn't David Stearns in charge?
Well, not yet. They think he's going to save the day, and he actually probably will. But
then they think too highly of David Stearns. He has nothing to do with the field. He has to do with hiring people that would not forget when a tropical storm is coming to put the tarp on. Like for everyone around the country, we got over 3 inches of rain up here, and they're a little farther north than me, and they were supposed to get more. There was a huge storm coming. Things were just canceled all weekend. Not shut down, just canceled. And they didn't put the tarp on. My thing is, why has there not been a ton of outcry about this? Because if this had happened to the Mets and let's say they're the only team that doesn't make the playoffs from the NL East. So let's say the Nats did it. Let's say the Nats did this and the Mets came in needing to win their games. How much outcry would there be? Because until I started preparing for today's show, I had no idea what was going on. And this should have been front page. Yes, I get it's a mistake. People make mistakes, but this is bad. This is bad because I don't think the Marlins, if they do come out of this and make the playoffs through this, they're not going to feel it until the playoffs. They're going to be drained. Just like we talked about the Cubs bullpen, the Marlins bullpen is about to be drained. Start betting the over.
Could they not bring in Uncle Steve's helicopter and put it on there and dry the field?
Yeah, but there's a level of care. I mean, first off,
the Mets don't care about the Marlins.
Just like David Stearns, that's not Steve's job. Now, I do think, being that this happened, he'll make some calls, make some changes.
But just reverse.
It's not his job.
Said, reverse this.
And it's not their playoff race, so they're not going to let it happen 2 times. But okay, our bad. I'm going to talk to everyone. We'll fix this for next year, and that's it.
Okay, so let's just say this was Mets versus Marlins.
Sure.
And the Mets were where the Marlins are. Just switch them. You think they would have played that game?
No, they would not play the game.
If the Mets were where the Marlins are, meaning
they're going to play it in bad conditions?
They need the guy they need DeGrom to pitch back in the day so he can get an extra start on Sunday. Mm-hmm. You think they're playing this game?
I don't think they had a choice. I think it would have been out of their hands. Like, I think it was out of the Marlins.
The field. I mean, I haven't seen one picture of the field or anything other than some carts driving around on it. But it didn't look like it was like completely underwater. You don't think they would have waited till like 11 o'clock and like tried everything in their power?
Sure, maybe they would.
If it was the Mets playing for the playoffs and not the Marlins.
I'm not defending what you guys are talking about. I agree with you. I think this is a non-story. It's literally foul territory / The Athletic, the only place on the planet right now where we've seen any coverage of this. Because
why is that?
Because it's the Marlins, not the Mets.
There's a lot of other shit going on, and people don't care. People are like, it's
there's
the Marlins,
nothing more going on with the Marlins.
They're like, it's weather, boo-hoo, it didn't work out. Actually, we could you want to do a 20-minute segment where we just go to Ken Rosenthal posting the story last night and read the comments. And that will help to give you an idea of people's care level. Some people were like, who cares? It's the Marlins. Not us. We're talking about it.
No, I don't know. All right.
It's a big miss.
If you don't think it matters, go to the Brewers locker room like we're going to. Go to the Phillies locker room like we're going to. That's the reason that you celebrate at the end of a season, because it is really, really, really hard to make the playoffs, and you do everything you can to get in, and you celebrate. So to say it doesn't matter, anybody that says it doesn't matter, it's just the Marlins, it does matter, because there's 26 guys down there on the current roster, and there's been 40 guys, coaches, everything, the whole year trying to get to this place. It does matter, and people need to understand
TV ratings too.
Who, the Marlins?
Yeah.
People care, they just don't go to the games.
Correct.
They watch, though, they just don't go to the games.
Correct. Okay, so on the celebration side of things, let's do the Brewers first, because they lost, and then they're like, no shit, the Cubs blew it? Let's freaking rage. And there is a new bromance that has emerged. Let's hear from Craig Counsell first, and then we will introduce the bromance that America really needs right now. But Craig Counsell, post-game, to his crew, to his Milwaukee Brewers, division champs in the National League Central for the second time in 3 years, said this.
This team's built for October, and winning the division is the first step. The first goal is done. How many celebrations we got left? 4. All right. Let's get Matty Arnold. The GM brought a lot of you guys here. Let's douse it.
I like that. Let's get Matt Arnold. You don't usually hear that. And also, you missed it right after that. He goes, let's win a World Series. I'm going to get $8 million a year and be the richest manager of all time, baby. Uncle Stevie, call me up. I'll fix that tarp.
No, my favorite part.
He's a free agent.
He's going to be the hottest free agent
Just
ever.
FYI, David Stern's calling on line 2.
Oh, hell yeah. That's been brewing for a while already. I freaking love it.
It's not going to happen. My favorite part was somebody, he said, how many celebrations we got left? And somebody goes, 5. He goes, no, 4. Like, it was just it was a clear example of Craig's like, geez, I got to do everything for these guys.
Well, congrats. The Brewers had a strong year. They're a great defensive ball club. It's a great run prevention team.
Yeah,
They've got the top of the rotation, the bullpen. Yeah. It's not a great offense.
Burns, Woody, Freddie.
It's a better offense, though.
Yeah, but listen, Burns, Woody, Freddie, 1, 2, 3 in a 3-game series in Milwaukee. Oof. I don't know if I want to face those boys.
I don't want that smoke.
No, and more crooked numbers from them. If you actually look, 4+ run innings, they have many more in September than they had in any of the other months. I do think that their offense looks a little bit more mature and energetic, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I don't know about the energetic, but the mature. It's like
energetic a little.
The other day.
They got a little more of a youth movement than they'd had in a while. They had a bad farm system for a few years.
Weimer got sent down. He wasn't very. I mean, that's the thing he does. That's never going to work.
That's not consistent.
It's just not. I mean, I hope it does for the kid, but I mean, you can't. Right before the pitcher throws, you can't go and put the bat like on the ground and try to pick it up real quick because your timing. I mean, you just got too far to go.
Well,
and pitchers can mess with you. I'm not a hitting coach.
I like Frelick.
Yeah, Frelick, Terang, good defender, can run.
I like Donaldson for a home run or two. Can we show America's favorite duo, Josh Donaldson and pitcher Rowdy Tellez? There it is. He had a line too.
You just heard it.
Say it.
He goes, my favorite teammate.
My favorite
Josh
teammate,
Donaldson to
Josh
Rowdy.
Donaldson. Epic. So I don't think, did you guys realize it when we interviewed him? Because sometimes you hear something and we all go, oh shit, this is going to get picked up everywhere. He said that about Donaldson when we interviewed him. He was like, oh, I don't need to introduce myself. Everyone knows me. And Rowdy's being Rowdy, and it was funny. And everyone's like, oh, Donaldson was being an asshole when he got to the Brewers. Oh man, what a jerk. The Yankees social media went off.
Do they just not?
I think it's funny.
You got to know Rowdy.
Yeah.
There's not one thing that comes out of Rowdy's mouth on these interviews that is true, I don't think.
But, you know, this is good.
I mean, I don't know there's one thing that he says is true. I mean, literally, when we talk to him, it is like you're trying to figure out like the Da Vinci Code because you're like, okay, now what is he being serious about? Now I've just got to the point where everything is bullshit and just laugh at it because 99% of it is just full bullshit.
He said he went up to Matt Arnold, GM of the Brewers, and said, give me more money because I pitch now. And we were like, and he's like, no, I'm serious. I mean, Rowdy Tellez he's one of the best.
But see, that might be the true statement out of all the other BS he spewed. That might be the one thing he actually did.
And that's why he's a great clubhouse dude.
I would have loved it. I think playing with Rowdy would have been great. I mean, we would have sparred every day, and it would have been awesome because we just would have been like, I mean, jabs left and right. It would have been great.
It's good content.
I think it would have been awesome.
Those two, actually, though, Donaldson and Rowdy on the same team, because Donaldson's a freaking character. And people can say whatever, especially because he goes to the Yanks. The Yanks are pissed that their GM made a bad trade and that Donaldson didn't play well for them because he's at the end of his career. Most dudes got along with him, with Donaldson. They're like, he's a different cat, but a lot of guys had a lot of good things to say about him. So just throwing that out there.
That's what this show's about, being able to let guys' personalities show. And then as soon as somebody's personality shows, like Rowdy let fans like a little glimpse into the clubhouse. And then people who have a narrative of a certain player. Like, they already had the narrative. He could have said Josh Donaldson loves eating ice cream, and the Yankees narrative people would have been like, see, terrible teammate, can't hit homers, end of his career. Rowdy's like, he likes ice cream. But when you have a narrative and then you let somebody actually like say something and realize, oh wow, JD wants to like be funny and like hang out with the dudes in the clubhouse, and you take it a negative way, it's why guys don't open up, because people just freak out over nothing.
By the way, Josh Donaldson, come on the show. We'd love to get your side of this, because I've been calling you for how many months now, and
he doesn't pick up.
No, he just
all right.
gives
Then
me
he's
the,
a terrible.
He just gives me
I take it back.
He gives me the. I've been talking too much lately. I need to concentrate on my calf, on my ice cream.
Barely
so, Josh,
talking.
You're going to be getting a call.
Barely talking. Josh,
yeah,
we'll see you
FaceTime
next
him.
week.
FaceTime him.
Now?
That would be funny. I think that's funny.
We should
I love
do that
random
this week,
FaceTime calls.
All right, let's hit our poll. So watchstadium.com/foul territory. Wait, Claude, it disappeared for me. Where is it?
Oh no, he gone.
Wah, wah. Who in the NL do you not want to face among the wild card contenders or teams? Phillies, Reds, Marlins, Cubs, Diamondbacks?
Mm-hmm.
Don't say anything. Vote. And then we'll come back with Russ Dorsey and talk about the Phillies dancing on their own. I had to do it. Then bullpen, specifically late in games, what does the circle of trust look like right now? We know that always changes come playoff time. So, like, who are the, say, 3 or 4 that are circled, and maybe if there's someone on the fence, depending on how they look in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have your Iglesias closing. You're going to have AJ Minter setting up. I think they've been incredibly impressed with Pierce Johnson since picking him up at the trade deadline. I think he's going to be really big for them down the stretch. Their other lefty they're going to go to. They're going to keep Brad Hand for sure on that postseason roster. And then you've got the guys probably that you're going to be looking at in case you need length, like your Kyle Wright, like your Michael Tonkin. And the one that I think they're going to want to know, I mean, Jesse Chavez, you guys, has just come back from missing a significant time with that fracture in his leg. And he's looked dynamite. And of course, the 2 appearances that they've needed him. But, I think you still have to kind of wonder exactly where he is as far as how sharp can he be physically, like if they needed him multiple days, multiple games. So I think that's going to be something they're going to really need to be probably just the transparency between Jesse and the team is going to need to be there for that. But I think they feel really good about the majority of the guys they have right now and the ones that they've used here in the last month or so.
And now, back to foul territory.
Back at it with Russ Dorsey. I think we did a pretty easy poll question today, though. Most dangerous NL wildcard team. You can say it.
Well, Russ is going to say the Cubs.
No, he's not.
Why would
Not
I do
after
that?
that performance.
Because you're a Cub fan.
We already talked about the Cubs.
I'm not a fan of anybody.
And you don't
put
pay your
that out
tabs.
into the ethos.
Wait, you're not a fan of me? Come on, Russ.
I'm a fan of you, Kratzy. I'm not a fan of
Yeah.
teams.
Thank you.
Also, the
Thank
correct
you.
answer is the Philadelphia Phillies.
Exactly.
Well, obviously.
That's the team I wanted to start with. That was my
Okay.
transition.
Okay.
And polling is still open, so you can still vote. But
But now we manipulated the polling.
that's fine. I like to do that sometimes just to see if people like us or disagree with us. But Russ, the Phillies partied yesterday. Not only do they clinch a playoff spot, but they've got that first wild card, so they get to have the home series for them, which actually different from last year because they were on the road for a while and then they come home and Philly was just anxiously awaiting playoff baseball for the first time in a minute. Your thoughts on the Phillies 2023 campaign, and do you believe this team is more dangerous than last year's World Series team? Because on paper, if we match the lineups up against each other, I do like this year's team better.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Scott, that I think this team is better than last year's team. Now, obviously, you add in a guy like Trey Turner, You bring in a guy on a $300 million deal. You better be better than you were last season. But I think outside of Turner, we know he has the 1,100 OPS since the standing ovation. The fact that they're getting real production out of Nick Castellanos, who they brought in last season, they didn't get anything out of him and were able to still get to the World Series. I think that makes a world of difference. Bryson Stott, who did play in the World Series for them last year, is having, a breakout year for him, right? Like Alec Boehm has been a guy who's had steady growth in his first couple of years in the big leagues. And so I look at that team. That's the team that the Atlanta Braves should be scared of, right? Because they know them as well as anybody else. It's almost deja vu because last year, the Braves went on that red hot run going into the postseason. Everybody thought, oh, the Braves are the team that's going to go to the World Series, and they got beat by the Philadelphia Phillies in the postseason in the DS. My only area of concern, and it is a real concern, especially when you're talking about the postseason, is that bullpen. Like, who is going to be the guy to get the ball when you need that 4-out save? Who's going to get the ball in those high leverage situations? I don't think the Phillies know that yet.
Do the Phillies have enough offense to beat a team like the Diamondbacks if they get the Diamondbacks with Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly?
Yeah, because I think I look at it in best of three, right? We need our best 3 games of the season, then we get to move on. I think because of that, the depth of the lineup that the Phillies have, right? Where you could start the game 1-0 with Kyle Schwarber there at the top, then Turner's moved up to the 2-hole, then you have Bryce and so on and so forth, and JT Realmuto and all these other guys. You could get 6-7 deep in that lineup, and you're like, man, somebody could jump the yard on us, and we could be down here. And if I'm the D-backs, you're praying that you get your best out of Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen because you don't necessarily have the offense to match what the Phillies can do firepower-wise.
That's true, but I love the way the Diamondbacks play if they get in. And I don't think anybody really wants to play them, especially in that short series with Gallen and Merrill Kelly, and then they're stealing bases. The one thing the Phillies have, they have JT Realmuto who can shut their running game down a little bit. But Nola and Wheeler, they're not exactly quick to home plate. So if they get on, I mean, we could see a track meet with the Diamondbacks if that's who they end up playing. Now, I mean, it could be, someone else. But, man, talk about kind of 2 teams on the opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Phillies, grizzled veterans, high payroll, just guys that have been there. And then you got the Diamondbacks that are just young dudes getting paid nothing, running around the base. Phillies trying to hit home runs, Diamondbacks trying to steal bases. I think it'd be an intriguing series.
For sure. I think the youth is something I'd be interested to see in that series, right? You have these young kids that people didn't expect a lot out of going up against a team that was played in the World Series, all these superstars. And when you walk into that environment, right, game 1 of the wild card round, you're in Philly, that fan base is nuts. And you walk out there, you're Corbin Carroll, you're Alec Thomas, you're Gabriel Moreno, and you look out and you're like, oh, man, this is crazy. This is nothing like we've ever seen before. And then the pressure of being in the postseason, if they're able to get through those first couple of innings, then the D-backs have a chance. If the Phillies come out early, score a couple runs, I'm interested to see how the D-backs respond because, hey, if you haven't been there before, you just don't know what to expect.
Yeah. All right, Russ. Now since you're Mr. Prognosticator, Mr. Rustradamus, who's going to win the AL West and who gets the wild card? Yeah, Rustradamus. You like that?
Okay. Yeah, so who wins the AL West? Who wins the AL wild card?
Yeah.
All right.
On the record, go.
I think the Rangers have created enough separation going into this final weekend where, lo and behold, they're going to be the team that wins the West. I don't think the Mariners, even with that last series against the Rangers, and we talked about it last week, I just think they're kind of out of gas. I don't know if they have enough offensively after the red hot month of August to really put themselves back in that conversation. Now, it's not never say never, but like personally, I just think I love the pitching, but I just don't know if the offense is going to be able to get it done. So I do think the Blue Jays and the Astros lock up the 2nd and 3rd wild card spots.
Did George Kirby last night redeem himself? Redeem himself after his comments after his previous game?
Yeah, and I think you're never gonna have a guy say it, but in the back of your mind, it's like, all right, people were on me, and that's why you come out the next day and you're like, yeah, that's not something that I should ever say. They should come pry the ball out of my hands. Yeah, I think when you sit back and you think about the season that George Kirby has, like, they wouldn't be in this position to even be fighting for the final wild card spot if it wasn't for guys like George Kirby and Logan Gilbert and Luis Castillo. It's been that rotation that's really carried them when they did not look like one of the better teams in the American League. So I think it's one of those where you let bygones be bygones and you chalk it up to a young guy just speaking his mind, but maybe that's a conversation that you could speak your mind, just have that conversation with your manager in the tunnel.
Or with yourself. Just don't say it and go out there and keep pitching.
Write it in your little notes app.
Yeah, write it. That's fair. Tonight's game, though. Mariners win today. Do you come on our show tomorrow and say, boy, they looked really good. The offense is clicking. They scored 6 runs. Tonight they're going to score 5 runs. Wow, it's 11 runs in the last 2 games. And all of a sudden, Russ Dorsey's on the other side of the fence.
When you're on air as much as I am, Kratzy, sometimes you're going to be wrong, man. Sometimes you're going to be wrong.
But is tonight the biggest – is tonight their season?
I think they have to think about it that way, right? And if it's not tonight, it's tomorrow. And it's Friday. And then the weekend. Like, I think every game is, hey, we got to win today. We got to have 1,000 winning percentage every day until Sunday. And hope everything shakes out the way it will after that, because you're not in a position where, hey, you have – the mercy of we can lose a game. We have some, a margin for error. They don't. So you have to win every game. You have to have the win out mentality. Will I come on here tomorrow and say I'm wrong? No, I will not. I will stand my ground, sir.
Well, I like that. I like that you'll stand your ground. But if they win, now it's up to them. Like, it would be in their hands. Obviously, if they lose, you sit back 2 games, but they're tied and they have the tiebreaker over the Astros. So it would be in their own, they control their own destiny then. So tonight, I think if you're in Seattle, you better stop what you're doing and you better come out and cheer the boys on.
Yeah, and it's going to make for a really fun series over the weekend. Like, it's going to be much must-see TV. I think it's just down to who I trust right now. And the Astros have done everything to make me lose that trust after the way they played at home against the Royals last weekend. But you have Yordan Alvarez, who I picked him to win MVP this year because that guy could just carry a ball club for months at a time. He's hitting over 400 in his last 7 games, has an OPS over 1,000 in his last 30. And so that's what you need him to do. Kyle Tucker's kind of been in a struggle here as of late, but hit some homers this week. And I think with those 2 guys, those are the guys that are going to have to carry them if they expect to sneak into the postseason. Who would have thought we'd say that?
Hey, by the way, Russ, just so you know, George Kirby redeemed himself. He threw 6 innings. He didn't get to the 7th. So, he didn't. I mean, he did a 6th, and he's like, coach, I'm good. I got 6. I got a ball thrown at me. I got smoked by a ball right in the chest by some random fan.
We're going to get to that.
I'm done.
19 2/3 innings, 1 run.
Yeah.
His last 3 starts against Houston. And George Kirby's, pretty good.
He is pretty good. 6
I have a question for AJ.
6 and dive? That's not how it goes.
I know.
So, AJ, before I came on, I heard you talking about Rowdy till I was like, I would love to play with Rowdy. That would be so fun. What teammate that you've had in your career do I remind you of?
Oh, God. You know who you remind me of, honestly? I don't know if you're going to like this or not, but Cam Maben.
Yeah, I love Cam. Cam's good people.
Yeah, just always like this, never paid for shit.
All right.
Like this.
Yo,
goodness.
We have to stop this narrative. First of all, I take my wallet out. I pull the card out.
Cut.
Nah. I'm not going to let you create this narrative about me on your platform. I have my card in hand, guys. Put it on the table. But our guy, Sal, shout out to Sal, he's like, I got it this time.
You know what Russ pulled out? He pulled out
not the dude that played in the big leagues that had 2,000 hits.
Russ went like this with his business card. It says, "See me on stadium," to the waitress, and the waitress like, "Sorry, sir, we don't accept those here."
They would not have accepted that.
I would take the bill just for Russ's
I do have
AJ impression.
A serious question, though, for Russ, now that he asked me that. A serious question here, Russ. When that fly ball was dropped last night in Atlanta, what did you do? Did you cover your eyes and say, "Oh, no, here we go again"? Or did you say, "Oh, my gosh, I can't believe that has happened," or what?
Why would I cover my eye?
Because you're a Cubs fan. You admitted it.
No, I'm not. Stop saying that, bro.
You grew up a Cubs fan.
People out there that believe that.
You've said it on the show, on the platform.
No, I've never said that. I've never said that. Scott, you're
Watch
not going to
again now. Let's see your reaction. Oh, no.
It was just like, I can't believe that just happened, right? I
that
can't
is
believe
like
that just happened. And I'm on
That's the
Twitter
biggest
and
whiff
like
of all time in the outfield, right?
That's a bad whiff.
it's kind of
that's
like, and he said after the game, like, I thought I had it in my glove until I looked up and I didn't.
Have we ever, honestly, at a Major League Baseball game, have we ever, like, you've seen it hit in a glove and drop out, but have we ever just seen a guy whiff?
How about Jose Canseco?
Yeah, but he was running back. I mean, Suzuki was standing there and just whiffed it.
Whiffed. That looked like me in the outfield. I get bad hops on fly balls.
It's not just the whiff, though, Russ. For me, it's the magnitude of the whiff. We've seen whiffs. We've seen days that suck for dudes that are in Oakland. They can't find the ball. This could cost them their fucking season.
It could. The other part I look at, even more so than the whiff, they had a 6-0 lead in that game. Like, it shouldn't even come. That should have mattered in the grand scheme of things. And I think for Suzuki, obviously he feels terrible. He came up in the 9th inning. He struck out. So now that's on your mind too. But guy has an 1,100 OPS in the month of September. They wouldn't be in this position without him for an offense that's kind of been up and down after, their hot stretch in July and August. So I can understand why people are like, oh man, how can a Major League outfielder whiff on that ball? At the same time, that they had a 6-0 lead.
Dude, I've never seen it. I've never seen a guy I've seen him drop, clank, whatever you want to call it. But I've just never seen a dude whiff, like without going, oh, it's in the lights, or oh, the sun. But I've never seen a big league outfielder be like, I got it, and there's no one around him, and just whiffs it.
Just a swing and a miss.
And it wasn't a miscommunication either.
That's what I'm saying. There was no one around him. I got it, I ain't got it.
It's definitely, I'm realizing that you've seen the movie Unbreakable where it's Bruce Willis and I forget who else, the opposites.
Samuel Jackson, Mr. Glass.
Yep.
Yeah. Russ and AJ are the two opposites. AJ pays for nothing. Russ is willing to pay for everything.
Yep. There we go, Kratzy. That's the narrative that's true.
Russ is not a Cubs fan. AJ is clearly a Cubs fan. I have learned this throughout the entire year. He always talks about the Cubs, and he loves them, and he keeps working for the White Sox and never gets them better than the Cubs. So he is clearly a Cubs fan.
Yeah,
and he's wearing blue.
And he's wearing Cubs blue today.
Listen, with these, you got to wear blue,
blues.
kid.
Yep.
He's got Cubs white.
And
Sox
I don't know
gear
anything
on.
red, so just for the record, I don't own one thing red.
And he'll be David Ross's bench coach next year.
Russ, good talk. We'll talk next week when we know who the playoff teams are.
All
Cheers,
right, thank you. AJ, objective journalist, Russ Dorsey.
Me too.
Nah, I'm not trying to hear it.
What has changed the most now that you are a married man for this season?
Nothing much, man. She's so busy. She's a doctor. So she's kind of in her first year of residency right now, getting absolutely crushed by hours of work, and so she's gonna be in Seattle. It'll be good to see her, and I'm excited about the off season. We're gonna be in Boston chilling, but she's the best.
Monty.
Yeah, I got myself a doctor, dude.
Monty.
Yeah, you married up,
You
dude.
have to explain that. Is she blind?
No.
You got a doctor?
I got a doctor. I got a pretty doctor too. She's the best.
Well, I assume she's pretty because you're a pretty man. But a doctor? Do you guys not talk?
Oh, we talk all the time. She loves how dumb I am. That's what makes it work. I don't know nothing she's talking about.
Does she look at you and go, has she ever looked at you and you're like, let's see, now 9 months of marriage. Has she ever looked at you and been like, are you serious?
She probably says like, man, that's my big dumb idiot right there.
And you have to be honest, and I'm going to call you out if you're not.
How many times am I what?
Looking up at the scoreboard this time of year, scoreboard watching during a game that you're not pitching in. When you're pitching, you're just punching tickets and you're worried about that stuff.
Oh, I'm always just on the bench vibing with the guys.
Never looking at the scoreboard.
Nah, I'm not. Sometimes I'm not even dialed in on the game. I'm just cracking jokes on the bench.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's important.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what you bring. That's what you bring to the squad. Is
Yeah,
it changed this year?
I played with you. You know what I do on the bench.
I know what you do. You're definitely not locked into what's going on the field. I definitely understand that.
And now back to foul territory.
It's FT Live. Braun, Pierzynski, Kratz, ready to play Take It or Leave It?
Yes,
Wow.
do it.
Don't be so excited.
I said yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we all said yes. What do you
Thank
want,
you,
Scott?
Graphic. The Braves will hit a record number of home runs in the postseason. Take it or leave it. Now, keep in mind, a lot of things have to go right. You also have to assume that they're going to get to the World Series because you're not going to set a record if you don't play the maximum amount of games.
I'm leaving this because one or two things are going to happen. They're either going to finish series early, so they're not going to get to play as many games, or listen, they play Phillies in the first round. There's a chance they could get bounced. I mean, as much as Braves fans aren't going to want to hear it, but there is a chance. So I'm going to say leave it, and plus pitching gets better in the playoffs, and I just feel like they'll figure out a way, and it's a lot of home runs to hit. What is it, 34 in 20 games? It's a lot of home runs to hit. And Randy Arozarena hit like 20 of them that year.
He hit everyone. I'm taking the under. I say it doesn't happen. Whether or not they go the whole way, I agree. I don't think the series are going to be that long. I'm not necessarily locked into picking them right now. I think after they get past the Phillies, then I would say so. But even then, you might be running into the Brewers. If the Brewers can get by the Dodgers, there's really good pitching in the playoffs. I think that's the key. There is really good pitching. And they're going to figure out a way to either walk the first guy and punch out the next guy because you just don't have the ability to get big hits all the time. So that's really where it's going to come down to.
We can show that graphic, though. It's pretty.
It's pretty amazing is what
Yeah.
it is.
Pretty steroid era.
It's also changed. I mean, Acuna's at 41. But the point is, you've got a dude in the 40s leading off, 30s for Albies, 30s for Riley, 50s for Olsen. The one that I think is surprising to most is Ozuna in the mid-30s after the first month of the season where it looked like he shouldn't play baseball anymore.
Well, it's also, but Rosario's not even in the lineup, so that's another one you throw in there.
Yep.
Right.
Arcia, Harris, Murphy.
Sean
at the bottom.
Murphy's struggle bus.
Most of those were in the first half.
Yeah, Murphy's struggle bus second half.
Mm-hmm.
Although he did hit a big fly ball last night for him.
Was that a double?
No, they gave it an E9.
Never touched his
Was
glove.
that the first error of the season for any player? We haven't even talked about that. At some point, we should.
What do you mean?
It's whatever.
What do you mean it's whatever?
They just give out a lot more hits now. Whatever. Who cares?
I mean, that's an error. That's got to be an error. I'm sorry.
Players talk
I agree
about
with
it.
you.
Oh, of course.
Players talk about how this year there are
Pitchers.
way more hits that used to be errors.
Pitchers talk about it.
All right. Anyway, Adam Wainwright is no longer a pitcher. He had his last start. He was struggling too.
I didn't
Before
think
the game.
he was leaking oil. I didn't think he was going to get there.
It's a great story I was reading. Katie Wu documenting what happened. Arrived at Busch Stadium ahead of his scheduled start last Monday. Upper back spasms, discomfort in his lower back from herniated discs. Couple ribs weren't in the right place. They taped his rib cage in hopes of getting things back together. And then the shoulder was a problem. And he didn't throw a single pitch over 65 miles an hour during warmups. And then he still put that freaking gem together. That's sweet. Anyway, Waino will get 2 at-bats before the season is over. One of them will lead to a run being scored. That's an aggressive take it or leave it.
Leave it.
I'm leaving that, but I'll say he'll get 1 at-bat. I mean, why not? Who cares? Like, give him his 1 at-bat. He wants to have fun and go out at the plate.
He might even get a knock, but a run being scored? I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, he did say, though, like, who do they play at the end? They play Reds. They play the Reds. And he said the only way he'll do it is if the Reds are out of it.
Oh.
So, I mean, there's a caveat to this, too, that the Reds have to be out of it. So if you're looking for this to happen, it's probably going to be the last day of the year. And, I mean, Waino could swing it a little bit, but, if he's got all these things wrong with him, broken back and broken hips and broken shoulders, I mean, he's retiring, but damn, does he want to go into retirement like with no healthy bones? He's going to be like Russ Dorsey, Mr. Glass.
If I'm his insurance company, I'm calling the Cardinals saying we are not insuring that at bat. Do not call us if his shoulder rips off. Do not call us.
By the way, I'm gonna get to the bottom of all this. First of all, Waino was our first ever guest, and he hasn't been back on. So
that's fucked up.
When I allegedly might get to work with him in the postseason,
Ooh.
Trust me, we're gonna probably get into this.
That's like the power couple there.
It's a great broadcast.
It'd be like Troy Aikman and Tom Brady, AJ and Waino. Ugh, what a power couple.
Get ready, because when the Rangers, who allegedly are winning the AL West, play that first game, guess who's going to be on the air?
I hope you
got the best is you have Adam Wainwright, who's like 6'6", and you have me, and then you have Adam Amin, who's like 5'2", and they put him in the middle. And he has to get like 6 apple boxes for him to stand on.
It's a great broadcast, though. Could we get him next week before he's done?
I mean, I'll ask him.
Yeah, one time.
And by before he's done, I mean he's gonna, probably work in the postseason to some extent. So let's swing back and bring on Lucy Burdge. I'm gonna step aside when we swing back because I heard that Taylor Swift is going to be mentioned, and she is not dating a baseball player, so that's not fit for this show. But whatever, we'll see.
I'm just going to say, somebody, I don't know, about a month ago or something, said something along the lines of, have a private conversation with Artie Moreno, go get coffee, go get breakfast, and maybe say, hey, it's time for me to move on. And I got absolutely destroyed by Angels fans saying, you can't get anything back from Mike Trout, and he's comfortable, and he doesn't play enough, and he doesn't care enough. Well, these emotions right here show you, one, he cares, he wants to play, he's frustrated because of his hamate bone injury that takes longer than people expected to come back from. Also, I don't know if the private conversations he mentioned with Artie have already happened or they're going to happen. But again, if I'm Mike Trout, I sit down with Artie Moreno and say, listen, Shohei ain't coming back. He's not, okay? He's already in Japan. He's had surgery on who knows what, because nobody will tell us he's had surgery. That's all we know, right? He's not coming back to the Angels, okay? You got Rendon. Seems like a good player, can't play, never gets on the field, right? Won't even tell us what's wrong with him, okay? And then you got some other young guys that they've called up that have done a nice job for him. But are the Angels going to compete in the next 2 to 3 years with the Rangers, the Astros, and the Mariners? Probably not, right? So again, Mike Trout, it doesn't have to be public. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to stand in front of the cameras and say, I want to be traded. Go to Artie Moreno and say it privately and get something done to where you can go play for a winner. You deserve it, dude. You've given 13 years of your life to the Los Angeles Angels, of Anaheim, right? You've given them 13 years. You have gotten this many playoff wins. 0 in 13 years, right? It's time. And listen, I'm all for guys staying in an organization their entire career. And Joey Votto, we saw what happened with him, and Derek Jeter and all these guys. But they were trying to put good teams out on the field. And the Angels are trying. They're just not doing it well. And you could almost feel it in those comments. And again, you guys know Mike much better than I do, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. But it almost felt like, who we have on yesterday? We're like, it felt like the end. Joey Votto, right? It kind of felt like the end when he was giving his comments after the game. Well, this almost, the way Mike was talking, it almost felt like a breakup was inevitable.
And now back to foul territory.
Oh, look who's back on Brian Bayo's last start of the season. Lucy Burdge back on FT Live. Lucy, did we plan this out on purpose to have Bayo Day with Lucy's back on a Wednesday?
Yeah, let's say we did. Final Bayo Day of the year. And actually, AJ, I will be at this game. this Red Sox game in attendance. I was just so happy to be at this one. And if you want to broadcast this one as well, then you can come along if you want. But yeah, Bayo Day, the final day of the season, unfortunately, will not extend past October 1st, which is really, really sad. But I will be there to say goodbye until next spring. So yeah, Bayo Day is going to go very well, I think.
So all right,
my favorite betting analyst said the Red Sox were going to win the World Series.
Yeah, I don't know who
said
that
it like
was.
every day for like 3 months.
Yeah,
I don't know who that
it must
was.
not be. It must not be me.
And then, okay, before we even get into the baseball, what's a bigger day for you? Brian Bayo pitching or Travis Kelce having Taylor Swift at the Chiefs game?
Yes. So I know that this is a huge topic of conversation. I will talk about it till, I'm blue in the face, but I am actually not a Swiftie so much. I just, the conversion of the pop culture sports situation, that's my wheelhouse. So I could talk about it, obviously, but I'm actually not a Swiftie, but I do love this for the NFL, for Taylor Swift. However, once this is done, she should move over to MLB and date a baseball player. And I would also offer up, if Tristan Casas wants to date me and we do the same thing that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are doing, I would be for it.
So Lucy, so who would we had this kind of conversation off air. Who would be the baseball player that equivalent? Because I said no baseball player ever really. This never happens to basketball. You see it all the time. NFL.
Cole Tucker, Vanessa Hudgens.
Dude, come on, Cole Tucker. Come on, bro.
This
Cole
is why
Tucker
we've
is
never.
not Kelce.
We've never seen this before. We've never seen.
I guess
this
Joe
level.
DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe back in the day.
Never seen this before.
Joe DiMaggio,
We've
Marilyn
never
Monroe.
seen this.
How about-
If there was
I'm
social
sorry,
media,
did we all forget about Derek Jeter?
Okay, but if there was social media at the time, Derek Jeter was dating Mariah Carey, was dating what's her name? I forget the actresses and stuff like that. That would be big. But this is Taylor Swift is the biggest star we've ever seen, ever. Not just like us, but worldwide. And the amount of tickets she has sold out, like every concert, of course, tickets are going for $1 million. She is now a billionaire. It's Travis Kelce dating a billionaire. I think that's a good move. But there is nothing like this.
Jack Peterson's dating a billionaire.
Who?
She's just not Taylor Swift. It's like an
Verlander's
Apple,
married to Upton.
Bill Gates'
Apple
ex-wife.
seats.
Oh, yeah. So, no, okay, last thing on this, and then we'll get into the baseball betting, because I know Scott hates this. This just drives Scott crazy.
No, I'm fine.
I understand.
Lucy,
I'm fine.
what are the chances? Here, I need you to set a line for me right now.
Okay.
This is a publicity stunt. What's the chances
Oh.
this is all? Listen, it's a great job by, first of all, the NFL, because they got all the Swifties to tune into an NFL game. And then second of all, by Travis Kelce himself. Because holy shit, his podcast, his jersey sales, his Instagram have gone, right? And I mean, some of the quotes he's put out there, like, oh man, what a perfect setup. And then we just jumped in our convertible and rolled out so everyone could see. Like, this is like, I mean, I hope it works out if they're like in
if
love.
they break up, he is going to be trolled for life.
But he's
by
going to
the
have a song
Swifties.
written about him for sure.
Yeah, but the Swifties will be after him. He better treat her like gold.
Yes,
All
if
right.
he treats her right. This
I
is
know.
true, because my big advice to Travis Kelce is don't say too much. Don't make this a deep relationship. Because it's more material for her songs. However, I would say the odds that this is a stunt is the minus 10,000. If I was setting the line here, I absolutely think this is a stunt. However, they could play out this bit to marriage. I think that they could end up even getting married, because this is they're in this for the long game, I think. And the only way for this bit to culminate, I think, is in marriage.
Wow.
Taking a
100%.
page out of the Kardashian playbook.
Yeah, there you go. Chris Humphries.
Wow.
Really quick Kardashian story.
Yes.
Publicist once called it a basketball team and said, can Kim date this player? It's basically fake just for the show. Player said
There you
no.
go.
Then they went to Chris Humphries. Anyway, let's do your free
They
game
got
of the
married.
day.
And Chris Humphries got married to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah,
The
there you
MLB
go.
free
I
game
love
of the
that
day.
Kratz and Scott are just like
No, I don't care.
the fact that we are not talking about baseball 24/7.
See, once you start
I don't care.
talking about it, though, you keep talking about it. It's really true. You could talk about it forever.
Kate Upton is offended. She's famous. BetMGM app
Dude, she's
live
not in
streaming
Taylor
available
Swift's
to all BetMGM
atmosphere.
customers logged in with funded accounts. You can watch Cubs Braves for free. The Seiya Suzuki redemption game tonight. Your BetMGM locks. We got to go quick. We sucked yesterday, but we swept the day before. So
man.
kiss our asses. And
Damn Hunter Green. You can only get 3 punch outs against the Guardians?
I got hooked so bad by Seiya Suzuki's whiff. FT heater lives on. We've won more than we've lost. AJ,
Yeah, look at that.
what do you
There's
got?
some ups, there's
Oh,
some
I'm up
downs.
first?
It's not so
Yeah,
bad.
sorry.
Sorry.
Go quick.
All
Like,
right.
real
Sorry.
quick.
I'm plus 100. Plus 100. Glass now 7 Ks, 1 walk. He walks someone every time. And then because Lucy's coming on, Brian Bayo 4 Ks. I have to do a Bayo day when Lucy comes on. That's plus 100. So I'm betting 680 to get me back to 0.
Okay.
Love
Lucy,
that.
you're up next.
I will tail that one as well, AJ, obviously, because it's our Bayo day. So I'm going to do that. But I am also going with, for my lock, Matt Olson to hit a home run, plus 270 at Bet MGM. He has 1 home run in his last 5 games. He's got 5 in his last 15 games. And not to mention a league-leading 53 home runs this season. And he and the Braves are facing the Cubs and Jamison Tyon tonight. Matt Olson, he is batting .333 in 3 at-bats against him. The one hit he has was a home run against Jamison Tyon. So he's done it before, and I think he can do it again tonight.
I think Stanton's going to date Taylor Swift. I think he's going to hit a home run
that's
tonight.
a good one.
And I think Dane Dunning is going to strike out 4, give up a walk, give up 3 hits, and Griffin Canning is going to, not an eagle, a Griffin, is going to give up 5, is going to strike out 5 guys, and I'm putting a hunch down on that.
This is
that.
the highest I'll go, minus 145, but Framber Valdez is going past 17 and a half outs. He'll get at least 6 innings for the boys tonight. He has been clutch when needed, even though it's been a rocky season for him. They also just need the innings, so even if he gives up a few runs, book that. FOUL is the code to use for your $1,500 first bet offer. Download the app. I'm talking about the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Sign up and deposit at least $10 into your new account. Place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses. And if that happens, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And Lucy, you're a star. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Looks like a sweep, guys. I think we're going to sweep these bets.
All
I was
right.
going to say.
I was like, wait, the Red Sox are going to sweep what?
Oh, yeah,
I thought you
they're
meant the
going
Red
to.
Sox.
Yeah, no, we are. We are going to sweep, and the
We
Red
are
Sox
going
will
to
win.
sweep tonight. Yes.
Dub City, sweep city for us.
Parlay
Let's go.
all of our picks.
There you go. There you go. Parlay that bitch.
It's spoiler night in Boston. Go get those Rays.
Yeah, there you
Lucy,
go.
we'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to everyone else on the other side on the Foul Territory YouTube channel for hour 2.
Gotta let go so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The second hour, FT Live. We'll talk to Michael Wacha in a few minutes, and then Nolan Jones of the Colorado Rockies, having a great year. We'll talk to him about it. I want to give some time to a late, great legend who just passed away, who was beloved in the sport, who was a total stud on the field, off the field. And actually, we do Legends Territory with the Players Alumni Association, setting up a lot of those conversations. He was a big part of that group, the PAA, for a long time. Brooks Robinson, remembered, extra special today. He passed away and lived a long, really notable life, both in his playing days and afterward. A lot of emotional farewells yesterday from those around the game 18-time All-Star, 1964 AL MVP, World Series MVP in 1970, 16-time Gold Glove winner, and I didn't get to watch him play live, but most say the best defensive third baseman of all time. Seen a few highlights. They're sick. So RIP to Brooks Robinson.
Yeah, I first met Brooks Robinson when I was about 6 years old. 7 years old. They used to do this thing, and there used to be a baseball stadium here called Tinker Field in Orlando. Twins used to have spring training here, and they used to do like an old timers like camp every year, and they had like Orlando Cepeda, Brooks Robinson, Tony Oliva. Like I still have balls stashed away from like 1983, 84 that they signed, and I just remember being like, dude, this guy's kind of awesome. I didn't know who he was at the time, right? And then fast forward, 2014, I get to go to the Hall of Fame induction for Frank Thomas, and I walk into the Otis Saga and with my son, and there Brooks Robinson's sitting there, and he's like, has a full-on I mean, we had run into each other and talked, but he full-on conversation, like we had gone back 30 years, and just, hey, that's your son, just awesome. Like,
great dude. Just
a great human being, a great person, and yeah, he'll be missed not only in Baltimore but in the baseball community, because like you said, he did so many things for the alumni and for the game of baseball in general. So rest in peace, Brooks. He will be missed.
Hey,
I don't know if you ever coached or anything, but like the fact that like some of these older players have always just been given back to the game, I think it's something I'm fortunate to be a big league baseball player, but like some of these guys paved the way for us to be able to play because of all the charitable stuff. He's been around the Orioles forever. Like Adam Jones put out a nice tweet. Like everybody they said on the broadcast last night, it was a really heavy-hearted game for the Orioles.
Mm-hmm. So again, yeah, our thoughts with the family as well. As Brooks Robinson passes away, we lose a legend. All right, let's move over to our next guest here on FT Live. We are excited to bring on Michael Wacha for the first time on Foul Territory. Michael, how you doing, man? You recognize this dude next to me?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. And it's the old teammate there. What's up, AJ?
Walkie, what's going on, dude? I mean, forget baseball. How's the golf game? Forget baseball. Let's get into golf. Because Scott hates when we don't talk baseball. So
it's not even about that. I just want to know, like, what AJ taught you on the Cardinals.
No, he was my mentor.
What you taught AJ.
Learned a lot from AJ for sure. But no, the golf games, getting out there here and there during the season, trying to find off days to hit some of these nice courses. But got out there yesterday at Olympic Club, shot a little 84 out there in the fog. But it was a good time for sure. But other than that,
humble brag. Oh, the Olympic Club. It's 84.
Were you from the Blacks? Did you play from the championship tees?
No, we did not. No, we had a couple short knockers out there with us, so we had to move up.
Did you go with some retired guys?
Did you go with Snell?
No, did not go. Snell probably plays a little closer than that as well, but no, I went out with a couple guys from my agency.
Oh, so no teammates can keep up with you then. I get it. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Olympic.
No, I was just not pitching yesterday, so everyone else was playing. So,
life of a pitcher, Scott.
Also, I mean, I would need 5 hours with your agency because can you explain? Are you on the pods next season? When your contract was signed? There was so much shit to read. I was like, I don't know. I just know he's pitching for them this year, and then I'll worry about it in the wintertime.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy kind of contract for sure. A lot of options in there. It was a weird offseason this past year. It took a while to, kind of get some interest from some teams, and, kind of went down to 2-3 days before spring training even, we reported. And so ended up getting into finding a contract with the Padres, and was able to work out a deal, and was able to report there. And I feel like it was a contract that gave me some flexibility, as well as also, gave me a little bit of something on the backside if something did happen go wrong and stuff. So after the season, definitely some decisions to be made, and we'll kind of go from there whenever time comes.
I'll put this kindly, but were you pissed that it took so long to get more interest in the off season? Because we watched you last year; you were pretty damn good, and you've essentially done that again this season. But ERA plus last year, 125. That's pretty damn good for Boston in the AL East.
You try to not take things too personal in this game, and everyone's kind of got their opinions on what kind of pitcher you are and stuff. So I just try to focus on what I know I can do out there on the mound whenever I am out there, and whatever team I'm with. They're going to get a competitor that goes out there and knows how to pitch and get dubs for the squad.
How'd you feel about Waino's finally getting his 200th win? Did you text him and say, geez, we watched the last 16 games to try to get you to 199? Or were you like, oh, great job, Waino, you are my hero, all that stuff? Or did you give him a little bit of a hard time for taking so long?
I sent him a nice congratulatory text, but then, they just came to San Diego this past week. So definitely had to rag on him a little bit whenever he was in town, and kind of humble him a little bit, because he was feeling pretty high about it for sure. But no, I was proud that he was able to get it the way he did it as well, and definitely pumped for that guy.
No, wait, no, you guys, Scott didn't know this, that we played together in St. Louis. So Scott is a bad teammate.
I forgot that AJ starred on the Cardinals.
Wacha was a great teammate, Scott. You can learn some stuff from Michael. Okay?
I'm all ears, baby.
But when he came up, I want to know this, because you came up, and I've never talked to you about this, but you came up in 2013 and were like a superstar, right? You had the great year, you guys losing the World Series to the Red Sox. I come in 2014. You were injured kind of down the stretch, came back for us in the playoffs. You had to think, I'm going to be Adam Wainwright. I'm going to pitch for the Cardinals for the rest of my career. And then you've kind of bounced around. Did you ever think you would move around? Because as a player, you think, oh, I'm going to be one team my whole life. But for you, the way it all started, man, it had to be like, oh, I'm a Cardinal for life. I'm going to put the red jacket on, 20 years from now, be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I don't know, because you were such a beloved figure even when I was there.
I think you're right. As a rookie, you get called up. That's your team that drafted you. That's the team that, they're invested in you, and you pitch there and you have success there for, multiple years. And, you kind of don't envision yourself anywhere else at the time. And, as the years went on, guys are getting extended, guys are getting, the contracts and everything. And, they never really wanted me to, stay there long term, it seemed like. And so, you kind of take the hint, and you find out, okay, there is the business side to this game, and there are multiple other teams out there that will want you, and you go out there, and it was a little weird putting on that Mets uniform in 2020. I can't admit. After putting on that Cardinals uniform for 6-7 years there. And, but, you kind of just get used to it and understand, hey, this is the business side of it. And, there's multiple teams that you can go out there and pitch for.
When did you feel like you were because I had texted you about coming on about celebrating your 10 years of service, which is unbelievable. Anytime somebody gets that, I think it should be celebrated like a boss. When did you realize that you were going to be like, okay, I feel better now that I'm going to get my 10 years? Because I'm sure there's times when you're like, am I going to get 10 years?
No, like you said, it's always a dream whenever you get into the league. You see guys, hey, let me get another day in the league. Let me get a full year in the league. Let me get to arbitration. Let me get to let me get to free agency. And then, hey, let me get to 10 years. And, it was always those stepping stones that you try not to look too far ahead, but there's something that you're always working for. And with some of my injuries at times, it's like, hey, this might be a little tough getting back out there. A little bit different pitcher now, and but you as a competitor, you find ways to get the job done. I guess you go out there and compete, and go out there and work with what you got and mix well, and continue to keep working on your craft. And next thing you know, you got another couple years in the league, and you're hitting 10 years, and it's an incredible accomplishment for sure. I'm very proud of that. A lot of people to thank for sure for getting me to this position I'm in, and just extremely grateful for all.
You're welcome. You're welcome,
Yeah.
Michael.
I think it was that second half of 2014.
Yeah, really put you over the top. Really put you over the top.
Don't pander to him. He has no clout here. Don't pander to him. You can say exactly what you feel. This is what the show's about. Say exactly how you feel about AJ. And you were probably like, he was a real jerk to me because I was a rookie.
Oh, he was not a rookie.
Okay. Second year guy.
Yeah, no, I was still a rook for sure, considered, in that 2014 for sure. But no, AJ was great. He was always cracking jokes. I saw you tell the John Jay story the other day, and brought back some really good memories. And no, it was funny. I thought of an AJ story. So earlier in the year, we traded for John Lackey. And Lackey's coming over, and he had number 41. But Pat Neshek was an all-star that year, and so he wanted Pat Neshek's number 41. And so he's like, hey, what can I do to get that? And Neshek's like, I don't really like watches. Could there be something else? And Lack's like, yeah, find something that you like for whatever amount of money or whatever. And so Neshek comes back with a Babe Ruth signed baseball, and Lackey's like, yeah, sure, we'll get it for you. And sure enough, we get AJ later on in the year, and he's coming over with number 35, and he wants to wear 35, but Greg Garcia is on our team, and we're all like, dude, hey, I'm a rookie with Greg. We're all talking, we're like, dude, what's he going to get you for taking number 35? AJ, everyone's pressing AJ. AJ goes, whenever you got more years than the guy has days in the league, you just take that.
Wow, you got nothing. That is
not
classic.
true. That is not true. First of all, Walker's a little confused because I was there before Lackey, because I was there when they traded Lackey for Joe Kelly. And I remember I was on the training table in San Diego, and Joe Kelly's like, man, am I going to get traded? And I'm on the phone with my agent, who has the same agent as Lackey, and he's like, Lackey's coming tomorrow. Don't tell anybody. And I'm like, well, who for? And he's like, Joe Kelly. And I'm like, oh, shit, he's next to me. I better be quiet. And he's literally behind me. Because remember in San Diego, everyone was pissed because they didn't tell him. And Alan Craig and Joe Kelly found out on the ticker on MLB Network and were pissed, right? So then Lackey comes over. And actually, I was 35 when I didn't even let me pick my number, which I was kind of pissed at Rip about, the clubhouse guy. They just gave me 35, and I was like, okay, whatever. But then Greg Garcia comes up, he's 12, and I'm like, I went to Rip, the clubhouse guy, and I go, I want 12. And he goes, we're going to have to buy all the 35 Pierzynski jerseys we're printing and selling in the Busch Stadium. I go, okay, so I'll give you a check for $12. There's fucking nobody buying that thing, right? So I gave Greg Garcia, because at the time, like Clash of Clans and all these apps were cool, like with Neshek and all that. I got him a $1,000 Apple gift card, dude.
Okay.
Scott.
That's how I remember
$1,000 Apple?
Yeah,
that's how
iTunes.
Michael, come on. What is more, a Babe Ruth sign ball or a iTunes $1,000 gift card?
Hey, what do you think meant more to Pat Neshek?
Target.
Yeah.
What meant more to Greg Garcia though? He didn't even know who Babe Ruth was. He just wanted to play his Apple Tunes card, his iTunes cards.
That is
very
tragic.
defensive right now.
Yeah,
Michael.
because I pay my debts. Damn it. I paid it. Like I said, I should have just done it. I should have just taken that bitch and been like,
no, nobody does that, guys.
Guys do it.
Guys do it. Trust me.
Really?
Guys do it.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Cheap guys. Cheap guys. Short arms.
Cheap.
Short arms. Waka, he ever buy you a dinner?
I
wouldn't. It wasn't worth. Dude, it was like there was like 3 weeks left in the season. I wouldn't get him a Rolex for 3 weeks. I mean, if it was like for a year, yeah. But 3 weeks, I'm like, dude, he got called up in September. I didn't even know 12 was an option. I would have taken it Well, he was still down in the bushes with Kratz.
Anytime AJ gives us a hard time, we're calling Wacha to come on and give us more AJ dirt from the Cardinals so we can give it right back to him. This is good shit.
Wacha, hey, I got a question for you. You're talking about competing. Blake Snell, what's it like watching this every single day? And is there any chance that anybody else should get a vote in the Cy Young than him?
It's been an amazing year watching him, take the ball every 5-6 days, man. It has been incredible to watch. And to answer your question right away, no, I think he's a lock. I think he definitely deserves it. The way he started, little rough start, but talking to him early on in the season, he was very confident. He was very confident himself that he knew that he was going to be able, turn it on and get this thing rolling. And man, did he ever. I mean, that stretch that he went on from probably middle of May till the end of the year. He wasn't even an all-star, which was crazy to begin with. But, I think he kind of took that to heart and, did not give up anything for the rest of the year. It was very impressive watching him pitch. As consistent as he could be, I feel like, with his fastball, curveball, this nasty changeup that he started throwing more this year, and then that back foot slider that he would throw to some of those righties. Just an incredible mix, and I would say he walks a little more guys than I can, just because he's able to go out there and punch out anybody he wants. So it's an interesting way he goes about it. Kind of gets his pitch count up there a little bit. But man, he's able to pitch out of jams, get the punch out whenever needed, and gives us a chance to win a ball game every single time he takes them out.
Walk, you were in Tampa, and Blake Snell obviously won a Cy Young in Tampa. What the heck is in the water in Tampa? What do they teach guys? What did you learn while you were there? Because every guy that goes there just goes again, whether it's a resurrection or they're coming up from the minor leagues, they just take off. So what does Tampa teach? And give us their secrets.
Yeah, no, I played in Tampa in 2021, and definitely learned a lot that year. They kind of opened up my eyes more to like the analytical side of baseball. Didn't really have much of that coming up in the Cardinals organization, and then kind of that 2020 year in the Mets, kind of never really able to dive into it too much, but really introduced to it in 2021, and working with Kyle Snyder over there, pitching coach, was amazing. He's got the ability to, see a pitcher and be able to make adjustments. And it's all tailored to you too. It's not just the same stuff that he would say to me that he would say to Rich Hill or to Kittredge or to McClanahan. It was all tailored to us that would help us be able to get our game to another level. And they're able to identify, obviously able to identify what pitches are elite. And, for a lot of guys, they tell them to throw it more. It's as easy as that. But it's also making adjustments, in bullpens and things like that to be able to take it into the game to be more effective. And I would say Snyder, he's got a great ability of making you feel like, as his saying that he always says, making you feel like you're 10 feet tall on the mound. And that's a great feeling whenever you're out there.
You said no analytics for the Cardinals. Do you feel like that could be part of the reason why they've had kind of a steep decline this season? Like getting behind they're behind. They're behind. They're years behind. If you're saying they don't have an analytic department, that's as good as the Rays.
So I think whenever I was with the Cardinals, I don't think it was as big of a thing. I'm sure that they've got an analytical department now, in the 4 or 5 years that I haven't been there. But as far as I can only speak on my time there, and it was more of a old school approach for sure.
Michael, obviously it was a disappointing season for the Padres. Specifically, I wanted to ask about one-run games and extra inning games. Like the other day, you lost one more extra inning game. Are you guys like, what the fuck? Like, obviously, it's a super talented team. That is just an epic record in those spots. And you look and you're like, There's talent on the field. It's not like anyone's looking at Bob Melvin saying, oh, this is a bad in-game manager. He was like Mr. Walk-Off manager with the A's for years. So what do you guys say? Is it like a joke at this point because you just can't buy an extra inning win and some of those late and close situations that would have gotten you guys over the top?
Man, it is very frustrating, man. I mean, it's hard to believe, looking at those records and those one-run games, the extra inning games. It's really hard to believe, and those games are freaking like gut punches too. Like we are in it, like we are right there. We're a ball bouncing, a certain way from winning that game, and then it doesn't go our way, and we're walking home, with our freaking face punched in. And, it's a bad feeling. And, it's hard to get on a roll. Those are the games where, hey, we blow out somebody, and then the next game, it's going to be a tight game. And, those are the games that kind of get you on a roll. And, those games never went our way. I feel like it was just, some of the craziest stuff happening to us this year where, balls landing on the lines, balls going just foul, balls hitting the umpire from keeping us from scoring, and umpires keeping it in play. It's like, man, this is wild. It's something that I've never seen, something that I've never seen in any of my years, and the teams that I've played with. I'm sure it's happened with other teams, but never from my experience. And, it's definitely frustrating. And, I feel like this team is very talented, like you said, and it was just, we never were able to find that way to win a ball game in those tight situations and extra innings. And, if we went 500 or even 300, we're in a different spot right now. And, we might be on the inside looking a different way.
All right. I have no idea how to read your contract, just like Scott said. So I'm just going to guess, okay, that I want this answer to be answered as 2024 Michael Wacha. If you're there, if you're a Padre, which again I have no idea, player option, team option, 2 years simultaneously declined. Like, do you guys flip a coin? Do you guys flip a coin and then slap each other in the face, and whoever gets the coin? I don't know how it's going to work out, but let's say 2024 Wacha is not on the Padres. Is the same answer of how good you think this team will be next year the same as 2024 Wacha, who resigns or accepts his player option? Is it the same answer?
Oh, hey, this team's going to be really good, man. I'm telling you, like, we're starting to see like a little glimpse of it this past 2 weeks where we kind of started meshing as a team, where everything was kind of clicking and we started winning some close games. And, you could see the kind of the atmosphere in the clubhouse and the dugout was like, hey, this team could get on a roll here. And obviously there was only 2 weeks left in the season. It was a little late for that, but I feel like those kind of things can roll over into the off season and give you hope and give you some motivation and rolling into spring training the next year. And I feel like this team is very talented. Guys will have bounce back years. A lot of guys had really good years this year as well. But I really do believe that this Padres team has a chance to be really special again next year.
Max Kepler said it about the Twins. He said in the first half, things just weren't really meshing. We didn't really come together as a clubhouse. What does that mean? What does that mean for the Padres that was it just the winning? Was it, oh, wow, we've scored more runs than the other team. Now we love each other. Or was there something else that like kicked it in gear and then you started winning?
Yeah, whenever I say mesh, I don't mean like us as players. Like we mesh from day one. We've got a great clubhouse. We all get along. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun on and off the field. But whenever I say mesh, I mean like, hey, our offense is raking today, but our starting pitchers gave it up. Early on, we're out. Our pitchers are on and our offense isn't scoring runs, or, both of starting pitchers and hitters are hitting, and, our bullpen doesn't have a good game that day. And, just kind of meshing that way, everything not kind of clicking that way. And I feel like that kind of hurt us throughout the year.
Yeah.
I've got one more on your Padres experience. How was the year with the fan base? Because obviously it's not working out here at the end to make the postseason, but attendance is high. I've been out there for a couple games. Like, it is an event. I think actually it is what, we're in Orlando, the Rays strive to have in the Tampa St. Pete area, because Lightning games, and it's not like Florida's a hockey state, but Lightning games are a vibe. It's an event. Now that has become the Padres in my mind. It doesn't hurt that there's no other pro teams there, but what was your experience like? You bounced around to some teams. Like, what did you experience there in terms of how those games are and how the town looks at baseball?
It's an amazing atmosphere, man. I didn't know really what to expect coming in. I mean, last year during the postseason, watching those games, it was absolutely crazy. Seeing the kind of cameras shaking on TV is like, okay, that place is getting rowdy in there. And the San Diego fans are amazing. They really do support this team, and they've supported us all year. Just myself, I can only speak on myself. Really, just walking around town and seeing all the Padres gear, and they're all wishing you good luck and rooting you on, and that's what you want as a player. You want to pitch in front of a lot of people. You want them to kind of provide that home field advantage for you, and I kind of feel like they did that with how they showed up. They supported us all year, and that's all you can ask for as a player, is to get that support from those guys and to continue rooting us on through everything that's going on.
Hey, who's the guy behind you in the mirror?
What, are you trying to mess with me?
You don't see him?
Oh, I mean, he's
been there the whole time. You haven't seen him?
Oh, what's that?
Yeah. Our director, Michael, our director's like, I keep getting thrown off because I look and I'm like, who is that behind him?
There we go.
It's just like Michael Jackson said, you got to
couldn't see it.
Man in the mirror.
Y'all's thumbnail is down in the right-hand corner, so I couldn't see it.
Oh, it was great. All right, before we let you go, I have to ask this because it'll make Scott really angry. Are you there for the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce stuff, or what? Dude, you used to wear sequins out in Ballpark Village, so don't say you're not a Swiftie.
No, hey, I will tell you this. So after my last start I pitched last Sunday, and first thing I do, I go out in the tunnel, see my family, and my wife, first thing she says, not, hey, good start or anything. It's Taylor Swift's at the Kansas City game. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? So definitely in our family, there's definitely some people more excited than others. But no, it's I think it's funny. I don't know, maybe publicity stunt or not, but maybe it is true love. You never know.
Yeah, I hope. We can all just hope. We can all just root for it. Otherwise, it'll be a smash hit song in about a year. Michael, yeah, right? Awesome having you on, dude. Enjoy the last few days here, and we'll talk to you in the off season when we can really explain that contract.
Dude, they Rochambeau.
Yeah. Once you guys smack each other in the face and land on the ground.
Do we Rochambeau if he stays or not?
We're gonna do a 2-hour special on Wacha's contract, but actually props to the agency. They did a great job. So we'll talk to you in the off season, though. Great to have you on.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Cheers. Appreciate you. No, I mean, I'm not even going to get too deep into it, but there's options and all.
It is crazy.
So. Yeah, it's crazy. There's a few. There's been something like that. Liam Hendricks had that. That's why I had to ask him too. Like, he had a crazy one. So
it's kind of like John Gibbons, the manager of the Blue Jays. He had a crazy one, and that's when I first started really get into you had to accept the option, and if you accepted the option, his contract would be 2 years longer. But then it would do it again. So the contract just kept rolling over and rolling over. I was like, this is genius. It kind of looks like that.
Yeah, it's like my first agent in broadcasting signed me to a kind of a lifetime contract. We got out of it because I was 12. But anyway, true story.
When you were at the Somerset Patriots?
True story. Soon after that. True story.
On the field?
On the bike in the field? Hey,
forever?
Let's do the Dizzy Bat race,
you should have seen the breakup. You are signed forever. And I was like, but I signed when I was 17. So does that count? And the answer was no.
You signed in blood.
All right. So I know how this is going to play out. I was like, should I grab him? You know what? I'm not going to grab him. I'm going to
because
see
I'm Michael Wacha's agent, and we're going to play Rochambeau.
Okay, but I'm going to see how nice AJ Pierzynski is as we introduce you to
we all know the
best
answer to that question.
shades on the planet.
He's not nice and he's cheap.
Yep.
Wacha's
Good
words,
news.
not mine.
Good news.
Wacha's words, not mine.
True. These are the perfect sunglasses, even for AJ Pierzynski, because he does not want to pay out the wazoo for his sunglasses, but he still wants it to look like they are A+ elite, and they are. And that's why we are teamed up with Shady Rays. So let's test your niceness. There are two others over there. Are you going to give me one?
No.
They're right there.
I don't care.
They're right
I
there.
can't reach them. My arms are too short.
There
Greg,
it is.
Greg Garcia
Alligator
wants
Arms
some.
McGee over here.
Greg Garcia, yeah, he can have them. He can have I like Greg Garcia.
Watch, Apple gave him a free gift card or something like that, and he handed it off. No, anyway. All right. So it's an independent sunglasses company that doesn't have to take answers from anyone else. And even if you're like me and all of a sudden you lost your pair, potentially AJ took them, they do have the best protection in all of eyewear. Every single pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. So even if you lose or break a pair, or AJ won't give them back, no questions asked, Shady Rays will hook you up with confidence. They've got your back. They're thinking about you long after you make that first purchase. So hit up shadyrays.com for the best deal of the season. 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Use the code FOUL at shadyrays.com. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. All right. Ready to go with our next guest. Let's bring him right in to FT Live. Nolan Jones of the Colorado Rockies joins us right now. There you go. Where are you at, Nolan?
I'm at my apartment in Colorado. How you guys doing?
Doing great. We got the floor to ceiling windows going?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Got a little pool outside.
I like it. I like it.
That
You know the phrase out in Denver, right? It's what is it? It's 300. Have you guys heard this before? 300 days of sun or something like that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful weather. Yeah, you can't really. I think we've been rained out once this whole year.
You probably usually will have more snow outs than rain outs in Colorado, but
yeah, I wasn't up for the beginning of the year, but that's what I heard.
You missed the bad stuff. So hey, how's the year gone? Well, I know the team obviously hasn't had a good season, but for you personally, I mean, significant strides at the plate. You had an awesome year. You deserve, I think, a lot more attention in the Rookie of the Year conversation. I know Corbin Carroll's had an awesome year, but what did you take from your first year in a new spot?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of learning that goes on throughout this. I think as a younger guy coming in, I didn't really know what my role would be. Came into spring training, and I guess I tried a little too hard maybe to impress with a new organization, and then kind of just enjoyed this year. I've gotten to learn a lot from guys like Chuck and KB and Ryan McMahon. So it's kind of been a year of learning for me, and there's been some goods and bads. I'm learning how to play the outfield again, or for the first time, I'm learning how to play the outfield. So it's been a year of learning and getting to know these guys and these teammates, and it's been pretty good.
Learning to play the outfield. Who the heck taught you? You broke the record in the first year at a new position. You broke the record for most outfield assists for a Rocky.
Yeah, I mean, I'm learning on the fly. Honestly, I think our center fielder Brenton Doyle is a Gold Glove caliber center fielder, so he makes my job a lot easier. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about communication on fly balls, and I kind of my honest answer was that I kind of just let him go, and I kind of back him up, and it's kind of made my job a lot easier. But I'm learning on the fly. I think I have a good arm, so I've been able to get some assists, but there's still a lot of work out there that I need to do. I think that the reads aren't as great as they could be. The jumps aren't as good. So I think it's just kind of getting the reps out there.
Do you think you were traded from the Guardians to the Rockies, clearly? Do you think the Guardians miss you? Because I think you have more home runs yourself than they do as an entire outfield. So do you think maybe the Guardians should have maybe said, hey, you can play the outfield for us here?
No, I don't think of it like that. I mean, I think, the Guardians had Oscar Gonzalez, Will Brennan, and Will Benson at the time of me being traded, and is like, those are three really, really good players. And Will Benson ended up getting traded a little bit after me. But I think they saw a lot in Oscar Gonzalez last year and into the playoffs, and Will Brennan through the minor leagues was probably one of the best hitters in the entire minor leagues. So, I didn't exactly fit the mold of what Cleveland loved, which is, more of a contact guy, lower strikeout rates. I am someone who's going to strike out a little bit. So I definitely don't hold any bad thoughts about Cleveland. I loved my time over there, loved my teammates, my coaches. Got to play for Tito for a little bit, which was a really, really cool experience. So, I think they went with what their model is, and they like guys more of a contact guy, guys that play better outfield than I do. And, I happened to run into an opportunity where I got a chance to get some at-bats in the big leagues and kind of ran with it. So I don't think that, I don't hold anything against Cleveland. And honestly, I probably would have made the same decision they did.
Well, you have a 927 OPS, and Will Brennan has a 651 OPS. So, maybe the Cleveland fans should hold them accountable for that one. Because, listen, no offense to Will Brennan. I'm sure he's going to be a fine player, but you're probably right now, you definitely have passed him, right? You've definitely passed him as a player. And I know it's only 1 year in. You're going to be all humble and say, but you're a better outfielder. You got a better arm. Hit more homers, because someone forgot to tell the Guardians homers are really important because they don't hit any home runs. They're last in baseball in home runs by like 100 this year. So maybe they should have been like, hey, old Nolan, I know you kind of played some first base for us, but we're going to stick you out there in right field and see what happens.
Yeah. I absolutely love Will Brennan as a person, a teammate, and a player. I have like I said, there's nothing negative I could say about any person over there. They went with what they thought was best, and obviously, if we could see in the future, we'd all change some moves we've made or some things we've done. But in the time, they had Oscar Gonzalez up there, who was, in the playoffs, I think Oscar had 2 walk-offs last year. Like, his bat was magic. Oscar Gonzalez has an absolute bazooka of an arm. He probably has a better arm. No, he does have a better arm than I do. So, he ran into some early struggles this year. But I like I said, those are unbelievable players and unbelievable humans that I love to death. And what Cleveland did. Look at Will Benson. Will Benson's with the Reds, helping them in a playoff push and having probably the year of his career. So sometimes that's the way it goes.
All right. So every time we have somebody on from Florida, AJ is from Orlando. He's always like, hey, you played at Krista High, whatever, so finally we have
nobody
somebody...
ever heard of no high school in Pennsylvania, so stop.
Yeah, so finally we have somebody. This is my moment. Don't step on my single cam here, okay? Nolan Jones went to Holy Ghost Prep. You were a first rounder. You got $1 billion to sign. Are you the greatest big league player to ever play in the BAL, the Bicentennial Athletic League, which is the league that we play in? If you were wondering, AJ.
I honestly, I'm probably not caught up enough with the history of the BAL to answer that question. I don't know. Thinking back, I know Kevin Wilson.
No, that's just No, he's not the best. Willie, I texted Willie about you coming on.
First of all, I haven't heard of one guy I've heard of other than Nolan Jones so far. So
he's mentioned one person. Let's relax. This isn't Mater D or Entre Gray High School where kids just go wherever they want. These people in the Northeast have to grind it out. You have to push through everything. Nolan, grinder. Okay, now it's paying off. But Kevin Wilson, no. All he said, I asked him, I was like, you got any good stories about Nolan? He goes, he's just such a nice guy. I'd have nothing bad to say about him. I'm like,
Nothing
good,
good.
whatever. I think it's between you and Jeff Manto. And I think AJ would probably be the only one who knows who Jeff Manto is.
And sadly, I had him as a hitting coach. Nolan, you win.
Okay, there you go. So Nolan, in his first full season in the big leagues, is the best Bicentennial Athletic League player ever.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. The Northeast is funny. We were looking up our high school stats. A bunch of us were looking up our high school stats the one day in the clubhouse, and I think I had 46 at bats my senior year. Everyone's like, were you not a starter on your team? It's like, no, our first 12 games got snowed out, and we play a 19-game schedule. So we ended up with like 9 to 12 games. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a grinder factor coming out of the Northeast.
Yeah.
All right,
no doubt.
so now you're out in Denver. How are the fans out there? Have you had any like funny or weird experiences where a fan asks you like a question where you're like, no, I'm not signing that?
You know what? The fans are pretty laid back at Coors. I mean, I think it's a cool atmosphere because, you know, like you guys said, we struggled this year. And they pack the stadium every night. It's a really cool atmosphere to play in. But the problem that we have in Denver is that it's such a cool place to visit. You know, people want to come to Denver. People want to see Coors Field and explore Denver. And so a lot of nights we get a lot of opposing teams fans. So we came back from a road trip from, I think, Atlanta and Boston, maybe it was earlier in the year. And we played the Dodgers the next series. It was like for 2 weeks straight, I was just getting absolutely ripped in left field from the road to home because there were so many Dodgers fans at our home park. So I think it's a really cool. I think it's the best looking ballpark in the big leagues. But it's a very cool place to visit as well for opposing fans. So we do get a lot of opposing fans in there. So we're constantly hearing it.
Have you noticed a difference? Everyone says, "Oh, the Coors Field effect," right? When you're hitting, but have you noticed a difference not only in hitting but physically? Because a lot of guys, I remember we'd go there for 3-game series. You could only play guys 2 out of 3 because they were sore. Usually either the middle day or if they played 2 in a row, the third day they had to sit out from the air. So have you noticed a difference in your body? And also when you're hitting offensively, have you noticed anything?
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't say I notice it as much as people talk about hitting. You know, there's days when the ball flies here, but I mean, we played at Cincinnati and played at Wrigley, and like, if I had to choose a park to have a home run derby in, there's no way I'm choosing Coors Field over Cincinnati or Wrigley. Like, I think that it gets a little blown out of proportion. Maybe the pitches don't move as much. You know, there's some statistical things there, but we also play in a huge ballpark. I mean, left center field's like 470 feet. I mean, you got to absolutely step on a ball to get it out to left center. But yeah, I mean, I think you definitely notice it with your body. The altitude definitely takes a toll. I had to learn, like, playing left field, I'm so far from our dugout. And with the pitch clock now running in from the dugout, I have to use my timeout every single time when I lead off an inning before the at-bat starts because I have to like catch my breath. It's definitely something that you get tired quicker. You know, you run out of breath. Doubles feel like you just ran a marathon sometimes. And so it's definitely something that it does take a toll on your body playing 81 games in altitude for sure.
I don't know if this is possible, but if they could, should they shrink the outfield? Because it's talked about all the time. I'm asking him. You're here every day. Because wait, the Baltimore Orioles made some adjustments, made it more pitcher friendly. Pitchers more interested in signing there. And the Orioles look pretty damn good. I know that they tanked for years and now they got prospects coming up and all of that, but that was definitely a story. Mount Baltimore is a big deal out there. It has changed the way that ballpark plays. I just wonder, with the outfield, I believe being the largest in terms of square footage, would it help if they shrunk it a little bit and made it a little more pitcher friendly for multiple factors here, including bringing in guys that would thrive more there?
I don't know if bringing the fences in would make Coors Field more pitchers friendly. I think honestly, I think it plays pretty true. You know, I think because of the altitude, obviously the ball travels more and pitches don't move as much. So I think I personally, I mean, even as a hitter, like we have the right center fences gets out to like 390, 400 feet in right center, and it's like a 15-foot to 20-foot fence in right field. So, I mean, I would honestly say that I think the ballpark plays pretty true for the altitude and the what pitchers lose on their fastball and on their bite on their sliders. I think it plays pretty true with the dimensions of the park. I mean, there's no, we went to Cincinnati and had two 90-mile-an-hour homers. There's no 90-mile-an-hour homers at Coors Field. Like the left field and right field lines are 350 plus. So although everybody talks about the altitude and how you hit the ball 1,000 feet further in altitude, our park is a lot bigger than a lot of parks. So I do think it plays pretty true to. Honestly, I think it's one of the harder fields to hit. Like this may be a pretty bold take, but I think it's one of the harder fields to hit a home run in big leagues.
I like that. I like bold takes. So here's another bold take. Do you hit 100 if they put you on the mound one of these last 5 games of the season? Because you threw 103, 102.7 the other day from the outfield.
I don't know. I think I personally think that I'd get one shot at it. I think I'd probably blow out if I got on the mound and threw as hard as I could. But I don't know about 100, but I think I could run it up there in the upper 90s for sure. I pitched in high school a little bit. I could get it up to, I was 93, 95, but I haven't been off the mound in a long time. So I'm not really sure, but I definitely think I could get it up there, but it'd probably be a season-ending injury.
Oh, we don't want that.
No pitch. No, you don't let your prized possession go on the mound.
No.
Yeah, that's for the crappy players.
Yeah.
Austin Wins. Tell Austin Wins to get out there. Tell him I said that too. He's the pitcher. The backup catcher is the guy that goes and he's the guy that gets out there in the blowouts. And you're going to get some blowouts in Colorado.
We definitely get our fair share. It's obviously nice being on the good side of those, but when he's been a really big part of this team, I think he's been swinging it really well, and having him behind the plate, you're really comfortable with him calling a game. He loves this more than anybody that I've played with. I mean, he dials in. He's always looking for tips and little things to help us.
So Nolan, I always wondered this because like I said, we used to go to Coors Field, and you had to make a choice as a team, a visiting team. You either play your outfielder shallow and take away the blue pits, because it seemed like the blue pits killed you more than the home runs, or you back everybody up and you say nothing's getting overhead, because there's a lot of triples hit in Coors Field also because the gaps are so big. So as a Rockies organization, which one do? Do they back them up, or do they say you guys play shallow and take away the bloops, because if they hit it over our head, it's a pitcher's mistake and it's probably going out of the park?
Yeah, so we actually we err on the side of playing a little deeper. Like I said earlier, Brenton Doyle in center field has been, I mean, one of the more special things I've seen in baseball. He tracks balls down like nobody I've ever seen. So he is someone, he kind of does his own thing and makes his own positional calls. Sometimes he's in a little deeper. I personally am, being new to the outfield, the balls that are over my head going back to the wall are much harder for me than coming in on a ball. So I personally have talked to the coaches and made the adjustment that I play deeper to give myself a better chance at the balls over my head. But I think as an outfield, like an organization, we see teams typically coming in and playing deeper because, the ball at cores does stay up a little more. So it's going to travel a little bit more. And sometimes those bloopers just hang up an extra second and let us, come in on those. So I would say most teams come in and play a little bit deeper than usual.
Have you seen Brent Suter, after every pitch, wipe his armpit as the ball's getting hit out into the gap, or do you not get to see it because you're chasing his fly balls down?
I get to see it. Sudi B is one of the best characters and humans that I've ever gotten to play with. He's a competitor on the mound like anybody else, and he doesn't have the 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Sometimes his fastball, and he'd be the first one to say this, sometimes his fastball is 86 to 88. So he gets out there and he absolutely competes every time he gets on the mound and does his thing. And he's an absolute joy and pleasure to have in the clubhouse and be around. He's a positive attitude, works his butt off, and he wants to win as much as anybody that I've played with. He's a real character.
We here on Foul Territory don't believe that Taylor Swift and Kelsey are in it for love. It's a publicity stunt. Who should Taylor Swift, after they break up, after the Kelsey brothers stop dating Taylor Swift, who should she date in baseball?
That's a really good question. That's a good question. I'm trying to think Rockies, but a lot of our guys are locked up. I'm not really sure who. I'm trying to think.
No single Rockies that are hilarious?
Yeah, they got to be older though, because Taylor Swift's 33 years old. It's
Well,
not
it
like
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does to her though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, you got to get like
guys are overthinking.
You got to get like a veteran star. Like Kelsey's older, right? He's a star. Like we need a veteran star.
Yeah, but what veteran star in
Yeah.
the game is single? It's not really popping in my head. I don't really, all of our veterans are married with kids. We got a bunch of kids running around the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Wait, are you a Swiftie?
Not really. I mean, I like some of her music, and
That's
I
a
love Travis Kelce.
That's a yes. What's your walk-up song? Love Story?
That was my favorite song in my 5th grade yearbook. But,
boom, Swiftie!
but my walk-up song is a Rod Wave song.
Wait, you're much more of a Jason Kelce fan than a Travis Kelce fan, right?
Hell yeah.
Well, sure. I'm a huge Eagles fan. I love the bird, but I'm also a fantasy football guy. So Travis is a real player. I got to go to the Super Bowl last year and see them duel it out. So that was really cool. But yeah, I'm a Birds fan for sure.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, good luck to your boys. Finish strong here this last week, dude. It was great getting to know you first time here on FT Live. Appreciate you. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Cheers, Nolan. We'll talk to you soon, dude. Nolan Jones of the Colorado Rockies.
I wonder if he remembers meeting me in 2017.
No chance.
I love when sometimes you guys bring something up that would have been just perfect 8 seconds ago. No. You should have told him that you guys met.
No. I didn't want to embarrass him.
He doesn't remember.
But even that's funny.
I agree.
Well, for me, it's funny.
Kratz, I would have brought it up.
That's what I'm saying.
But I didn't know.
It's funny for AJ and I. Like, if somebody hates AJ or somebody forgets who I am, that's funny for me.
Yeah.
But for them, it's like, ooh, actually, I kind of remember meeting you in the weight room one time when I was my first spring training ever with the Indians.
I think it's fine. I think it's hilarious. I think it's also funny. Like,
no chance.
We have a Legends territory. I'm not going to say name or anything, but that's coming out soon, where the dude definitely had no idea who I was. And I just didn't come across him really for interviews or anything. So I just thought it's hilarious. I was like, he definitely doesn't know my name. We said hello at the beginning. All good. I think it's funny.
He didn't know your name.
No chance.
Did he call you Scooped?
No, he didn't call me anything.
No.
If he would have called you the wrong name, that would have been so much better.
I would take anything. I think it's all good content.
I mean, I pretty much dominated all the questions, and the times that Scott came on, it was like,
Yes.
So not long ago, I was at a dinner. This is before. I'm not going to use the names, but there are people that you would know their names of, and we're at dinner, and person is sitting here, and he's talking to the other person across the table, and constantly calling them the wrong name until finally the other person's like, "That's not my name." And then, I'm so sorry, but it went on for like
they should have known their name.
15 minutes. Oh, these are two people that definitely should have known each other's name.
Yeah, and Kratz, AJ is just sitting back like this.
Oh, I was like this. The person was sitting here, and I'm there, and the other person is across the way, and I'm just sitting there going, "How long can we keep this going?"
He's got his phone out. He's just like this. He's like, He's not on a call the whole time. He's just recording it. So it's just, how many times are you going to call Stan Joe?
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
That is tremendous.
He's like, "Oh, I'm going to record all of this and show this on my show." All right, we got 2 things left to do. One, can't wait for your take on this. It is the baseballer viral hit of the week. I watched this live. Ballin' is right, but not for the dude in the seats that got torn apart by his mother or auntie or somebody. So Kirby on the mound, and he's holding a baseball and then gets pelted with a baseball from the stands. Foul ball off the bat of Kyle Tucker into the seats, and a kid, not an 8-year-old. How old do we think this jabroni is? This Kelnick
16.
jersey dude. 16?
Yeah, get him. Get him, Mom. Get him.
Kicked out of the game. Real talk, like, I know, whatever, baseball hit him in the chest. Like, that thing flung from the seats onto the mound hits you in the face. Are you fucking kidding me? If that happened to you, you're on the mound. Do you not want to?
I seen it happen.
No.
Okay.
I seen it happen.
From the stands?
Seen it happen. San Francisco, 2004, Brett Tomko's getting shelled. Foul ball. Boom. 2 seconds later, he's on the rubber. Ball. Boom. Smokes him. On the mound.
Never.
Just like this. Just like this.
I've never heard of it. I've never seen this or heard of it.
Oh, happened. I was catching. Ball. Boom. Foul that. Here it comes. Smokes him.
And that's it? He didn't say anything?
He's like, I mean, what was he going to do? He could chase the guy up in the stands?
Yes. Ron Artest.
No.
He's just like, what the fuck? And then I saw it. I was calling the game. Yankees-Red Sox. Stanton hit a home run in Fenway. Some dude chucked it and freaking smoked Stanton when he rounded second.
Hit Stanton.
I was calling the game. Like, they should sign that guy because Lord knows the Red Sox didn't have no pitching.
That's incredible. The guy hit him, and now the nets are bigger. So that takes it. That's a shot. Like, I could stand out there and let everybody in the stadium throw one at me from their seats, and there's a chance you don't get hit one time in the chest. And this dude got one shot with his terrible middle school haircut, where it's all the hair is just like over here and he can't see. And then his mom gets yelled at him. I love that his mom yelled at him too.
The best part was the mom was just finger pointing, just fingers like this at him. Dude, Scott, you don't do that at the baseball game, kid.
They're going to Google you, and you're not going to get that job at that financial firm that you wanted to work at in 6 years.
He should not be allowed back for a while, though. I'm sorry.
Ever?
No, not ever.
Because he's 16. Come on.
Not ever.
If he was 18, is it ever? If you're an adult?
Yeah. If you're an adult, yes.
So he's not tried as an adult because he's 16? And he doesn't know any better. Foul ball.
He knows better.
That's the 3-year-old. Sometimes you give him the ball, and there's always like the cute thing where they're like,
3-year-old doesn't know any better.
That's what
16-year-old kid knows better.
This is my point.
You're a punk.
Stop it. You're a
the mom stopped
clown.
The mom stopped it when all his boys seen his mom just undressing him.
You know what I think should happen? This is where one time you don't just work for the owners, you work for the sport. Manfred comes out today. This would be a boss move and says, we don't take that shit. You're never coming in our fucking ballpark again. Don't do that shit. And most of you are going to prison for that. When you have some respect there, those are our fucking players. Those are our assets. You don't do that in other sports. If you threw a fucking baseball at LeBron's head, how do you think that would go?
You know what's not going to happen?
What?
Any of the stuff you just said.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying one time.
You shouldn't throw. My question is though, like when guys throw like in Wrigley, they throw the home run balls back. Do they get in trouble for that?
No.
No.
Foul ball though is not a thing. You don't throw foul balls back.
Why is it okay to throw a home run ball back?
I don't know. We can debate it. Is that okay? That's like a tradition. People kind of know it's coming for the most part. No, it's not like they wait for 5 minutes.
What happens if the one Stanton hits Stanton and hurts him?
Hey, you throw a ball at another person, even if it's by accident, there's some liability on you. Right?
But it's okay to throw a home run ball back at Wrigley from the bleachers.
It's always about the Cubs.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, they're not out there before every pitch, like stretching, like, hope I get a home run ball, and then you get a home run ball. These dudes just get it and huck that thing. And my arm is like, oh. You start seeing stars, your elbow hurts. I need to warm up. I need to foam roll in the bleachers.
Can happen.
Okay.
But like you guys should be the ones pissed. I'm not on the field.
No one ever threw a ball at me yet.
Right. So you're like, oh, good. I made it. Oh, good.
I was safe.
All right. Let's lap hands. Oh, wait. There it is.
Baseballer.
You do it.
Viral hit of the week. Go to bsblr.com.
Nice.
To see the viral hit of the week, sponsored by Baseballer.
You passed the test. You might have to do more of those.
You can host, AJ.
I don't do reads.
You can host.
I don't do reads.
That's Fox.
You've never had that?
Because you're a national guy.
Not once?
They've never let me read the card.
Well, that's stupid. I'm texting Amin.
You would do a great job.
He knows the rules.
Why?
He knows the rules. I don't read the cards.
But if someone gave you a card one time, you wouldn't read and have fun with it?
Well, of course I would, but I am not. That's above
They're
my
not giving
pay
you
grade.
the copyright card. Give you
you have to pay. They have to pay you more.
Apparently, in order for me to read the cards, because I've never read one in my life.
Give you $1,000
it's kind of the running joke now at Fox, though.
What, that you won't read?
That I don't read the cards because
okay,
Kratz, when you do a game, there's monitors obviously. So the play-by-play guy has like 2 or 3 monitors, program they call an ISO, and then there's usually another one that's like cards or whatever it reads or whatever.
They put the cards on the screen?
Oh yeah. This isn't MLB Network, bro. This is big time. Okay.
Big
so
time,
then the stage manager will always say to me, "How many monitors do you need?" And I'm like, 1. And they're like, "For what?" I'm like, "Program." And they're like, "What about if you have to read a card?" I'm like, "No,
not in the contract.
Didn't sign up for that."
Kind of like I always said. People are like, "Well, why don't you hit better?" I was like, "If you paid me more than you did, I would hit better."
Well, I got fucked. I had to read all the cards, and I didn't get paid that well.
All
right, let's slap. AMP is how you reach us. I've started going back and forth more frequently with fans when they call for something. And I told a fan it was late last night. I got in late. I was like, just calling you. He was like, no, I just wanted to point it out. I was like, okay, but you can on AMP. And it was fine. He wasn't calling us out. He was calling out the Brewers ballpark situation. I was like, you're good. They're not moving. Don't worry. All right. What's your name and your favorite team and your question or comment for Foul Territory? And reminder, unmute yourself before you speak.
So my name is Mason. I'm also from New Jersey, like a lot of the other callers. I'm unfortunately this year a Yankee fan. And my question is about the Milwaukee Brewers. How far do you guys think that their pitching staff can take them before the offense kind of flattens out?
Kratz, you are the star host of Brew Crew Territory. I feel like this is you first.
This is me. Mason,
you got to start.
You're from Jersey and you're a Yankees fan? They're going to take it farther than the Yankees have gone. They're going to the World Series with the pitching staff.
You think they're going to the World Series?
Homer pick.
That's what he asked. He asked,
He
how
said,
far are they going to go?
How far can they take them?
Yeah, he said the World Series.
Yeah. Oh, but then that's it? They can't win a World Series?
No, I said they're taking them to the World Series.
I think they can get to the CS. I don't think they can.
Not enough offense.
Maybe the D. Well, the DS is going to be tough too because they're going to run into the Dodgers. And that's going to be a
Dodgers offense is much better than the
battle.
Brewers offense.
But if they, I just think here's the thing: because they're going to have to use their 3 guys in the wild card, right? And then there's a quick turnaround. I know there's some built-in off day in the NL for the DS. They get an extra off day, so that Burns can probably come back and pitch twice. But then you're going to run in, if they get past that, to the CS, then they're going to Atlanta or Philly more than likely. I just think if you're going to get worn out, and they don't have the offense to say, we're going to just throw a game away and maybe win it with our offense, because our offense isn't that built like the Braves, the Dodgers, the Phillies. But I think they definitely can win the first round, whoever they play, whether it's Marlins, Cubs, Diamondbacks, whoever that is.
That's easy. You guys, come on.
But I'm saying, I don't
First
know.
round, that's it? That would be a big disappointment in my mind.
If they make it only to the DS and lose to the Dodgers?
I think the way they get past the Dodgers, because of how the NL is set up, is they win the first 2 games in the wild card. First 2 games in the wild card. Game 1 of the DS, they play the Dodgers, and Freddie P goes. They have an off day. Now they're going 1-2 again. And then they have another off day. Freddie's going back again for now 7-game series. It might catch up to them a little bit, but they are almost set up. I mean, I feel like if you're hamstringing yourself by throwing Freddie P out there for the first game, I feel pretty good about my chances.
Who has the best starting 3 in baseball for the playoffs?
Right now, them. That's healthy?
Yeah, them, right?
Mariners, if they get in.
3?
Castillo, Gilbert, Kirby?
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, I forgot about Gilbert.
Best in the National League,
if
though.
they get in.
If they get in.
If they get in.
Best in the National League.
I mean, Gray, Lopez, Joe Ryan? Twins?
No.
Okay.
Not for me.
Just because you got traded for Luis Arraez, you hate Pablo
No,
Lopez.
that's good. It's just that's good. That's just not that's not the Brewers for me.
Okay. I mean, okay.
The last month especially, those 3 dudes have been absolutely lights out.
I mean, if you had Fried, Strider, Morton, I would probably think about taking them. But they don't have them.
Agreed. They don't have them. They only have 1. And he might only go 5.
And they might score 20.
What about Gallen, Kelly, and Fat?
Brandon
Fott. Pafosh.
Not as good as the Brewers.
Soft P.
Yeah. But okay,
How about the
I
Cubs?
got you.
Wait, what about the Cubs?
Who? Justin Steele and
Tyone and Strosho?
Stroman's coming back. He's making an appearance, I think, tomorrow, isn't he? Starting again tomorrow?
He is. It's his second start. He pitched twice in relief, and then he's got tomorrow. The first start didn't look too good.
It's still
a lot of flat sinkers.
Still not the Brewers.
Not even close.
Not even
what
close.
about Scherzer, Evaldi, Montgomery?
And DeGrom, too.
And DeGrom, too. Pretty good 4.
The Phillies are ahead of all of them. Nola, Wheeler, Ranger Suarez.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one.
It is good.
Battle tested, too. I love Wheeler. Okay, if you want to be like Mason and call in at the end of the show, you can. Join AMP, follow at Foul Territory, and remember to unmute, and we can chat.
I didn't realize
Tats.
a regional network. We just get all the Jersey people.
All right, so he asked at least a Milwaukee question.
I know. But
ooh,
this one I definitely must have played because I got some sweat on there. Neat little thing the Pirates did instead of changing their whole logo. The alternate jerseys, when we would wear sleeveless jerseys, had the white around it. Really went out on a limb. Got to get all the new Pirates gear.
Maybe that was like sticky stuff, and Kratz was the catcher where it was like this. Look, here, show me. It's like
no, that was right here. You put it on your mitt. You just
right here.
dip it and throw it in.
There you go. We got to do a demo on that sometime.
Ugh.
All right. Lastly, it's you. You get to finish the show today.
Well, before I go, happy birthday, Hard Garfish, John Garland, World Series 2005. Way to go. But
Not
before
John
I go,
Roush? Not John Roush? Wasn't that one of your teammates?
No. I watched John Roush fall on the dugout steps one night celebrating too hard after he got 3 outs in like the 4th inning. But that's a whole different story.
Isn't he really tall too?
He's like 6. He was always 6'11", so he could be the tallest guy in baseball over Randy Johnson. He had to have a 6'11".
Good for him.
And tattoos.
Yeah, cool guy. Anyways, 6'11" through 85 is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
but
shots fired. What do you
know?
That is legends territory.
That's true though.
That's a scouting report. Yep, that is a scouting report.
So did Chris Young.
True. Okay. But he won 6'11".
Only 6'10".
So anyway, so last night at my daughter's volleyball game, I'm watching the volleyball, and I peek at the concession stand, and I see these 2 hot dogs that were on the rollers for, I don't know how long.
How'd the poll do?
So we did the poll, but what's amazing, that's on Instagram.
Yeah.
But on Twitter, a lot of people were like, "That's how I like my hot dog." Now the hot dog on the top, I actually watched them hand to somebody, threw it in the garbage, and then they put it back in the. Yeah, I know, it's disgusting. And luckily nobody ate them because I stood there the whole time and watched, because I'm like, someone orders those, I'm gonna have to stop them. But
you're like standing there.
Well, there was a glass window and it was behind me, so that's
standing there to protect the people of
protect
Orlando.
the population.
You're ridiculous.
But would you eat those? That's dude, that is not how I want my hot dogs.
I'm out on hot dogs.
Kratz, is that how you like your hot dogs? Like crispy?
Are those breaded?
No, they're just
terrible.
burnt.
That is
But people
brutal.
on Instagram or Twitter are like, dude,
No.
this is how my uncle does it. They're the best that way. Put some sauerkraut and mustard on them.
Your uncle has a hot roller? That looks
Well,
like
no,
a
they just
minor,
mean
that looks
burnt.
like a minor league road trip hot dog that you got to get. You get into a road truck stop at like 3 a.m. and you have to eat that. That's the only thing.
Some people don't like them where it's like there's no crisp or cook to it.
That's nasty.
Dude, that's like burnt though. It was so burnt there was smoke coming off of them.
Well, and it had a little hot garbage on it.
Yeah, that's true too.
See everyone on Thursday. Also, we'll make some announcements about the playoffs soon too. We're gonna give you a little bonus coverage. Yeah, playoffs. They're coming up.